Treasury Star Parade, starring Miss Betty Davis. Produced under the personal direction of William A. Bacher with David Broekman and his orchestra and chorus, Miss Betty Davis and Norman Roston's stirring dramatic poem, Paris Incident.
To France, free France, to the courageous men and women inside and outside their occupied land, within whose hearts liberty, equality, and fraternity still live. This poem is dedicated.
France, once the land of freedom. You have given words to the world which have been placed on banners. Home of heroes and heroisms. Your shining deeds and daring once put new blood into the veins of history. And today in our great New York harbor, your Statue of Liberty holds the light aloft, symbol of safe harbor and haven to the hunted, the oppressed, the poor. France, where are your saints of yesteryear, your deliverers, the guardians of your past? Where is Joan of Arc?
I heard the voices telling me, go out and lead the soldiers. Walk through the gates of the enemy and be not afraid of their whips. Did you believe, darling, that I feared when their flames touched my body? Did you think I wept, Monsieur Laval? No, I was not afraid, nor did I weep.
Or do you think that Albion was afraid, leading the rebel army of Paris out of the gates against Burgundy? The people are never afraid.
The people speak in one voice to their oppressors.
You will go down bleeding and helpless, and be ground as gravel upon the road. You will be swept away as leaves before the storm.
1942, another voice speaks. A Joan of Arc for this year, calm and beautiful as the voice in a legend that will never die.
Oh, my native land, my France. Even from this imprisoned window I can hear your weeping. The air seems heavy with sorrow. How doth the city sit solitary that was full of people? How is she become a widow? She that was great among the nations and princess among the provinces. How is she become tributary? Truly she dwelleth among the heathen. Those are my last morning bells. Do they ring for me, perhaps? And do you hear them, Pierre, my husband? My darling, do not grieve too much. You are still safe. You will continue the work. Remember the words of that American who died so very young and long ago. I regret that I have but one life to give for my country. His words are the words of our century, Pierre. There is no other way for us. It is not so hard to die. That morning, when they marched through the town, shouting commands, pounding on our doors, demanding food and drink, I was not quick enough.
Swine, we will teach you to obey quickly when we command.
You weren't at home, Pierre. I was glad, because if you were, they would have killed you for your anger. It was the first time I felt a whip. I did not cry out. Somehow, strangely, the blows made me stronger, and I was not afraid anymore. I love you, Pierre? Do I love France more? We might have loved longer, you and I, in another day, another clime, where love and peace walk hand in hand. We might have lived and loved in safety, you and I. But was a world of their kind of safety worth the price? To live silently in a house, safely in dishonor in the city you once loved, now defiled. Oh, no, Pierre, we could never live in such safety. Not you, nor I, nor so many others.
Tomorrow night will be the time. The dynamite will be ready.
How many guards?
2 or 3. It will be dangerous.
I will go. No, let me go.
No, I will do it.
This is a man's job.
It may be easier for a woman. They will suspect a woman less.
No, it is too dangerous.
Are we to be afraid of that word? Let the man or woman speak who has not seen the face of danger. Let me go. Some of you have children. Remain with them a while longer. Let me go first. It was easy to decide, Pierre. You didn't speak a word at first. How were you to say no? Each of us knew the meaning of our lives and the value of them. Each of us understood. That last evening, Pierre, neither of us slept.
Do you remember, darling, our first summer near the sea? How we lay awake listening to the waves and the gulls over the water.
Our first vacation.
Our first picnic.
We had such a wonderful day.
The people.
The children.
The roller coaster and the carousel.
And the hawkers.
The eating and drinking.
And the wonderful tiredness.
And coming home to our little house.
And the comfort of warm arms.
Warm, still night.
You held me close, Pierre.
And loved you, darling.
And all the universe stood still so that we might have that moment.
Oh, my darling Joan. I love you, I can't lose you.
Hush, Pierre.
I never wanted anything else in life but to go on loving you. To be near you forever. If God was good.
Pierre, darling.
I won't let you go. We're too young. I need you. You can't go now. I won't let
hush,
you go.
Darling, you must hush.
Joan, please,
Pierre,
please, darling,
my
don't go.
darling. You know I must go. You left early for your work. I felt your kiss on my cheek, Pierre, and I heard you whisper something. I wish I could remember now what it was. There is so little time for remembrance. Do not be angry that I left before you returned. There was a car waiting at dusk. We drove for hours, and every star was a good angel for me, I thought.
We have arrived, madame.
Is everything ready?
The dynamite is all wired down in the ravine. You know the place. You will light a fuse and leave quickly. Give me to God.
I'll know what to say.
Au revoir. Bonne chance.
Au revoir. How dark and lonely it was, alone at the edge of the huge reservoir, alone with the beating of my heart. I said to myself then, my husband is a soldier, and now I am a soldier, and I must win. I thought of the world, of the earth and seas, and those fighting with us on the earth and seas, and I wasn't afraid anymore. I crept slowly into the ravine. We had gone over details by map. I found the place. It seemed as if only the stars breathed, and God alone was watching. Shielding the flame with my body, I lit the fuse.
Who is there? Fight! Fight or make fire! What is it? What is it, Colin? Down there, someone running. Halt! Stop! Ready! Fire!
They caught me. I tried to hide in the forest, but they hunted me all night with flashlights and howling dogs. They beat me, darling. Yes, they tied my arms to the bars and beat me until I fainted. Then they woke me with water and beat me again. For days. But I did not care. The dam exploded, Pierre. I did not fail. The water swept into the valley with the sound of thunder, and I could hear their barracks crack like boxes of wood.
Well, madame, will you talk now? Who are your confederates? Come, speak. Wo sind sie? Wo verstecken sie sich? Tell us where they are and you shall go free. Tell us where they are or you shall die. Sag uns, wer der Heilige!
Have you still nothing to say?
Nothing to say. All your weapons and cruelties will not open my mouth. All the bayonets in your army held at my throat would not make me speak. All I would say is, you are the hated ones, hated forever. You who have come here with your murderers will learn the true meaning of murder. Your own bodies will be found in the ditch or in your warm, stolen beds, or in the streets where you fall suddenly.
Enough, quiet.
You will learn that people do not bow down easily to conquerors. You will learn that fortifications may be broken, but not the human spirit. Not by 1,000 shells.
Fräulein, you will be shot tomorrow morning. Do you understand?
Yes.
You are not afraid?
A little, but not enough to tell you what you ask, Herr Captain. For death may be swift and terrible, but it must be an honest place. And so I have come here to this last morning of my life. I am a soldier on this final day, Pierre. I will die almost as in battle. Oh, it is foolish to write all this in a letter. Perhaps if I drop it into the street, it will reach you somehow. They're coming now. Goodbye, darling. The thought of protecting others has made me stronger than their guns. For none of us is alone today, Pierre. None of us leaves this world feeling lonely. We are thousands, millions, soldiers all who daily strike their small blow. And one day even the mountains must fall. And the day must come. Our day.
Step out, please, Fräulein. March! Halt! Squads ready? Rifles up! Fire!
Did you believe, Dinah, that she feared as the bullet struck her body? Tied to the post, her eyes upon heaven, did you think she wept, Monsieur Laval? No, she was not afraid, nor did she weep. She is not the France that is shamed. She is the France whose spirit touches ours, whose tears and sufferings are ours, whose final victory shall also be ours.
Achieve final victory. No matter how much we have to work, to fight, to save, we will win. Have you answered your war bond protocol? Are you investing at least 10% of your income, your total income, in United States war savings bonds and stamps? If you are entitled to display the new Treasury war bond sticker, and you and your family are entitled to wear the new Treasury 10% war bond button. They are your badge of honor as Americans. You can obtain them from your payroll savings officer or from your city, county, or state war savings administrator.
Here it is, men. It's Downbeat. Yes, it's the music of the poet of the piano, Carmen Cavallero. The old Downbeat bandstand is proud today to have on the podium and at the piano one of the outstanding pianists of modern music, namely Mr. Cavallero himself. Welcome to Downbeat, Carmen.
Glad to be here, Harfield. I've played on several mail calls and command performances, but this is my first shot on Downbeat. I've been looking forward to it.
And we've been looking forward to having you. What do you have lined up there as your first number?
If you would like to start the show off with a bang, I'll trot forth our arrangement of A Poet Plays Boogie Woogie.
A Poet Plays Boogie Woogie. Sounds very interesting. Let's hear it. Oh, brother, the poet really played Boogie Woogie. Wonderful, Carmen. In fact, sensational.
With all those adjectives, perhaps I'd best play something in a slightly more serious vein to justify them.
That sounds like you might be standing by to give us some more of that Chopin you teased us with at the start of the program.
Well, that wasn't exactly what I had in mind, but if you think the fellas would like Polonaise, then we'll give it to them.
You bet they'd like to hear it. Men, here is Carmen Cavallero's fine rendition of Chopin's Polonaise. Carmen, didn't you start your career as a concert pianist?
Yes, I did. I started in New York, I studied there, and I concertized there.
Well, when did you switch over to the popular field?
Shortly after I got out of school, I continued to play both classical and popular music. But after time, I grew more and more sold on popular music and decided there was more opportunity for me on that field.
Well, your terrific success in nightclubs and hotels and on the radio has certainly justified that decision.
Thank you. Now, how about a piano solo? A medley of tunes I found men in the service like to hear.
Swell, Carmen. What'll it be?
Well, first, My Silent Love. Then, If I Could Be With You 1 Hour Tonight, and Can't We Be Friends?
How did you go about breaking into the big time as a popular pianist?
Well, strangely enough, it was remarkably easy. I took a job as pianist with Rudy Valley, then I went with Abe Lyman, Al Cavlin, and a few others, and was lucky enough to be featured in their orchestras.
When did you organize your first band, that is, the first band of your own?
Oh, about 5 years ago.
How many musicians did you have in it?
Just 4.
Just 4. You
That's
have
right.
more than that now, haven't you?
Oh, yes, I have 13 now.
13. And
right.
do you contemplate raising the number of musicians up to, well, like 26 and 30, the way some of them have?
Well, I don't know, Harfield. I've had such success with 13 boys that I hate to spoil the flexibility of them. I'm going to let them stay as they are.
Well, I'm sure that your many fans will vote in favor of just that. But, Carmen, one of the most popular things you've done recently with that band of yours is that terrific arrangement of In Acapulco. Would you mind playing it for us now?
Not at all. I hope you like it.
Really great, Carmen. Well, that does it for today, men. Rocking and swaying the Downbeat bandstand on this session has been the popular poet of the piano, Carmen Cavallero.
Who says to you right now that I hope you invite me back again soon for another session.
On that, you can definitely count. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, and so long, fellas.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
For the top tunes on your Red Hot and Blue Tune Parade, it's Sound Off. Well, hiya, fellas and gals. We have a little batch of sharps and flats to offer the cats, so latch on. This is Boots Barnett, all hipped up to sound off with the 4 fine ditties you ordered on your Red Hot and Blue Tune Parade. All the stuff is postpaid and ready to polish the promenade. That's swell the way you've been sending in letters and cards, ordering the musical gems on this bounce ballet. You pick 'em, we kick 'em. Now take number 4, for instance. The Gates in Hawaii claim you can't pick a better pizzicato than Holiday for Strings, and brethren, how they ordered it. Here's Kay Kaiser and his kids to deal out the cadenza. Yeah, and there'll always be a soft spot for that pot of hot on your Red Hot and Blue Tune Parade. Before we wheel in number 2 on your favorite 4, I'd like to settle a small argument between a couple of GIs in New Guinea. Yeah, fellows, Joe Reichman and not Duke Ellington is the Pagliacci of the piano. Ha-ha, somebody lost his shirt. And now to the tune, and to fill a flock of orders from New Guinea. Their tune is an old one remodeled and brought up to date a la Barrel House. The ditty, Cherry, and it's Joe Reichman's band with Ray Foster on the vocal ventilator. Number 2 on the old bounce barometer.
Cherry, cherry, your twinkling eyes shine and the stars that light up the skies. Cherry, cherry, nothing's worthwhile till you warm my heart with your smile. Your lovely face is all I see. Anywhere I chance to be, you have a charm that my heart adores. Cherry, cherry, please make me yours.
Yeah, it shines like patent leather and twice as rugged. Yeah, I certainly hope you have an order or so for us, a favorite song or tune you'd like to hear. If that's the case, just address your order to Sound Off, Armed Forces Radio, Los Angeles, USA. We'll appreciate it if you'll tell us whether you hear this program over shortwave or through your local station. Thanks, Yanks. Attention one, attention all. We're now going to pitch ourselves a ball. The award for the nicest letter of the day goes to Sergeant Edward R. Walter, APO 923. A million thanks, Ed, and here's your reward, your sound-off special, and it's one right out of the feed box. It's King Porter Stomp, and the music of the one and only Harry James. Thank you, Harry. We'd like to tarry, but we've hit pay dirt, and the fine tune that tops the tip of your red, hot, and blue tune parade. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, that tune parade. Today's big noise in other syllables. Number one and the winner. Yeah, gang, it's a fine dinner. Orders flocked in from most everywhere. Everybody got in their 2 bits worth, but the guys and gals in North Africa really stuffed the mailbox. To them, a 20-gun salute and a double-boiled voot. The tune, Blue Rain, and the music of Al Donohue's band with Diana Phelps flinging the words.
But when you return, there'll be a rainbow after the blue rain. And there's a blue star looking down, asking where you are. But when you return, there'll be a sunbeam hiding the blue star. Skies will be much brighter than they were before. When you and love come strolling through the door, then there'll be no more rain, just the sound of my heart's refrain, singing like a million little bluebirds after the blue rain. Then there'll be no more blue rain, just the sound of my heart's refrain, singing like a million little bluebirds after the blue rain.
Well, gang, you've heard the high spots on the old bounce barometer for this session, but every order you send in helps a lot. So why not be a busy bee and bombard us with a bundle of nutritious orders right now? In plain and simple words, we want to please you, but good. Is it a deal? Well, slip me 5 and watch me dive. Until we floy together again, the best of luck to you all. This is Boots Barnett stamping inflammable on another Sound Off produced for the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Fiery horse with the speed of light, the cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo, Silver, the Lone Ranger.
The building of the first transcontinental railroad was one of the most important steps in the winning of the West. The railroad was of prime importance to the future of the country. But powerful forces, cattlemen, stagecoach lines, and steamship companies opposed it. Outlaw opposition sprang up. and the Lone Ranger was commissioned by the President to lead the fight against the enemies of progress. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! There's danger on the trail ahead! I'll Silver!
At a cafe in the roaring town called End of Track, two men were facing each other at a table. Each of them held 5 cards in his hand. On the table in front of them was a stack of chips. One of the men wore a black coat and a black string tie. His hands were white and thin, and his eyes sharp as flint. The other man was younger. He wore outdoor clothes, and his face and hands were burned brown from the western sun. He was tense. Little muscles danced in the angles of his jaw. The crowd watching was tense, too.
Don't do it, Vince. Throw your hand in.
I'm playing this hand to the finish, Jed. Can't quit. I'm in too deep already.
But I tell you...
Davis, maybe you ought to hire out as a nurse. If Walters didn't know how to play poker, he had no call to sit down at a table and buy some chips. I ante 10 blues, Walters. You seeing, or have you had enough?
I'll meet it.
Oh, Vince.
Leave me be, Jed.
Keno, leave the young fellow alone, mister. He's got confidence in his hand. He's playing it. All right, Walters. How many cards?
I'll play these.
Well, standing pat, huh? Wish I could say the same. Dealer takes 2. You opened, Walters.
I'll bet this.
I raise you.
I'll raise back.
I raise again.
Oh, Vince, don't be loco. Barton's a professional gambler,
You
man.
can't buffalo me, Barton. Here's your raising up the same.
Oh. You're mighty proud of those 5 cards, aren't you, Walters?
I'm backing them up with cash.
Yeah. Looks like you got a month's salary from the railroad on the table.
That's my affair. You throwing your cards...
Rain up, Walters. I'm still playing. I still raise.
I need more chips.
I'll buy them.
Well, I'm out of cash.
This is a cash game, Walters.
Well, I got a set of surveying instruments. How much will you
Vince, you can't use them. It means your job.
I've got a good hand. I'm playing it to the hilt. Barton, here's my set of instruments on the floor. Any railroad engineer will tell you they're worth 500 cash.
He cheated. Barton cheated. I saw him just now. He slid a card off the bottom of the deck. Reach for your guns, Barton. Here you go. Throw me a card, Chief.
Blazes, somebody shot up the lamp.
Quick, out the back way.
Let go my arm. Who are you?
Don't be a fool. Barton's got a dozen men. They'll start shooting blind. The place will be buzzing with bullets. Davis.
I'm right here.
Follow along.
Sure thing, Mr.
This way.
Shoot up the place! Here goes that mirror!
This way! Well, Walters, quick. Now, hold on. Who would try to...
Don't be a mule deer jackass, Vince. Keep traveling.
Here's your horse. Ride.
My horse. It was around in front of the cafe at the hitching rail.
I brought the horses around.
Steady, boy. Come on, Vince. In the saddle.
Doggone, I don't savvy this. First I'm holding a pat hand, then you yell at Barton, bottom deck the card, and then his hombre shoots out the lights.
Walters, your pat hand wasn't any good. Barton's a card sharp and a cheat and a killer. He was building up to get an excuse to finish you.
Why should he?
Because you work for the railroad, that's why. Because you're a valuable surveying man. Putting you 6 feet under would hold up the building of the Great Central. Now will you...
Keep aside. Pretty soon they come out
There's
here.
no time for talk. If you insist on being stubborn, I'll have to put you on your horse myself. Hey, you're in the saddle. Now get going. Here, Silver. We're heading north, but we'll see both of you later. Adios.
Gentlemen, come on. Adios. We head west. Come on, Vince. Head for home.
Reckon I might as well. Get up, boy.
Get up there, boy. Come on, get up.
Jed.
Yeah.
My brain's spinning like a dog chasing his tail. I began to savvy you saved me from arrest.
Oh, it wasn't me. I just followed the masked man's orders.
Masked man? Are you local? That gent didn't wear a mask.
Not tonight. It was disguised. Most of the time he wears a mask, Vince. That gent is the Lone Ranger.
Molly, you sure are a hand at making coffee. How about another cup?
Oh, I don't know, Vince Walters.
How about me, ma'am?
Gladly, Jed. Here you are.
Thank you kindly.
Well, hey, now, what kind of rowdy dow is this? You'll give Jed Davis more coffee and you won't even let your own husband have another.
I certainly won't. Well, you ought to be ashamed, not having more sense than to get into a card game with a card shop like this, Barton.
Oh, now, Molly.
Don't now Molly me, Vince Walters. Supposing you'd have put up your surveying instruments, you'd be out of a job by now.
But I didn't. Got my instruments right here.
Small thanks to you. It was Jed Davis saved him, not you.
Not me, Molly. It was the Lone Ranger.
Anyway, it wasn't Vince. What got into him?
Oh, I'm awful sorry, Molly. I guess it was card fever.
Most always you got sense, even when you play cards.
Well, I had 4 jacks. I didn't see how I could be beat.
I bet Barton picked up the 4th ace.
If it could be proved that hombre cheated,
It can't be proved. Turned the table over too fast.
Well, anyway, I had my lesson. From now on, I stick to my surveying job. Only time I play poker's in a friendly game.
Now, that's more like Vince. Here's your coffee.
Well, thanks.
When do you go out surveying again, Vince?
Oh, I reckon not for a while, Molly.
We just come in a couple of days ago, ma'am. Riding herd on a row of stake lines where way out in wild country is a nosy chore.
Yes, I know. It's lonely country.
Lonely ain't the word for it, ma'am. It's way out past end of track. Out past the grading crews and even past the railroad buffalo hunters. When you get that far out, you're all alone with nothing.
Nothing except rattlesnakes and gophers and wolves and antelope. Not to mention Injuns.
Injuns?
Oh, now, Molly. Most always they pay no mind to us.
Yeah, most always. But it only takes one unfriendly redskin to lift your scalp.
Oh, Jed.
Hush that mouth of yours, you blundering idiot.
Burn my tongue. I was just making talk, ma'am. Shucks, Vince has been out surveying plenty of times. He always comes back.
Yep, and I always will, Molly. Reckon the only place I can get scalped is sitting at a poker table.
Yeah, what's that?
Somebody traveling this way?
He's traveling mighty fast.
Walters! Vince Walters!
He shouted my name. Let's see what's up.
Ho there! Oh, boy! Howdy. Which one of you gents is Vince Walters?
Well, that's me, mister. Howdy.
What's wrong?
Nothing, ma'am. My name's Spencer. Work for the Great Central. Got a message for Walters.
From who?
Colonel Parkman.
He's head of construction. What's he saying?
I don't know. It's a note. Here you are.
Oh, thanks.
Keno, mister. Adios. Adios.
Adios. Adios.
Well, open it, Vince.
Oh, yeah.
It's from the Colonel, all right. There's a signature right at the bottom.
Well, I'll be,
Something wrong?
doggone just when I was figuring on resting up for a couple of days.
Resting up for... Vince, you don't have to go out again.
Got to go at once.
Oh, no.
It says so right here. I'm to go out to Section 24 out past the Sagano, and it's got to be resurveyed.
Well, I'll be doggone. That's where we just come from.
I reckon something's wrong. According to this letter, the line I surveyed don't match up with the original one. Reckon there's no help for it, Jed. Saddle up the horses. We got to set out right now.
That place up ahead?
Yes, that's where Walters lives.
And we be there soon now.
Yes. Tonto, what do you think about Barton?
Him heap bad.
He's a crooked gambler. There are a lot of crooked gamblers in the West. There's something more.
What you mean?
I think you know what I mean.
Maybe so.
You know the outlaws are trying to smash the building of the railroad.
Them Iron Spur. Everybody know about Iron Spur.
They have money and they have no scruples. An evil combination, Tonto.
Railroad beat 'em.
The railroad's got to beat them. Nothing must stop the building of the railroad. All the way west to San Francisco. Tonto, I think Barton's in the pay of the Iron Spur.
Tonto think that, too.
I think what happened last night was a deliberate attempt to kill Walters. Because he's a valuable railroad man.
Plenty good you there, huh?
As soon as that trouble started, I shut out the lights. Davis and I got Walters out in time.
Tonto here, 5 men wounded in fight afterwards.
It's going to be our job to get Barton where he can't trick his way out of it. He's got to end up behind bars.
You think Walters maybe help do that?
We'll ask him. Steady, Silver.
Howdy, you looking for something? Your mask.
Oh, we friends.
An outlaw and an Injun.
It's all right. Your husband knows us. We were with him last night.
Last night, what? Why, you must be the Lone Ranger.
Him Lone Ranger. Me Tonto.
Oh, mister, I'm plumb sorry. Jed Davis and Vince told me all about you. I reckon you want to talk to Vince.
Yes, please.
Well, you're too late, mister. Him and Jed Davis rode out this morning.
What's that?
Yes, heading for the line west of the Segundo.
To do more surveying?
Mm-hmm.
But I thought your husband and Davis just came back. Why should they go out again so soon?
A note from Colonel Parkman. Here, read it yourself.
Vincent Wallers. Order for resurvey, Section 24. Mrs. Wallers, you mind if I take this note back to the end of track?
What?
Tonto will stay here with you. I'll be back very soon.
Tonto, stay, Kimosabe.
Adios till later. Come on, Silver.
Why, that horse is traveling like a prairie fire. What's it all about, Tonto?
Tonto not savvy. We wait. Mask friend him come back plenty quick.
Steady, Silver, steady. Mrs. Wallers.
You get back plenty fast.
Silver galloped all the way.
Masked man, you found out something?
Colonel Parkman never signed this note, Mrs. Wallers. He never gave out any such orders.
What's that? You spoke to the colonel himself?
No, but I have ways of getting accurate information.
But I just don't understand. What reason would anyone have to play a joke? Mr. Barton. Slick Barton.
I'm not sure, ma'am.
Who else could it be? Slick Barton tried to cheat my husband at cards last night. He sent that fixed-up note to draw my husband and Jed Davis out into the wild country. They won't stand a chance. Mister, you got to do something.
We'll do our best, Mrs. Wallers.
Yes, Scout.
Tonto and I'll hit the trail now. We have plenty of ammunition, Tonto.
Plenty bullets, but no food.
I'll fix you some victuals right now. You can pack it in your saddlebag.
There's no time for that, Mrs. Wallers. Tonto and I have lived off the country before this, and we can do it again. We're heading west, Tonto.
West of the Segundo, masked man.
Adios. West of the Segundo.
Get him up, Scout.
Come on, Silver.
Sounds like a coyote, Vince.
Yeah.
Funny how the country changes as soon as you get west of the Segundo. Looks downright unfriendly.
Oh, forget it.
Like there was a painted Injun lurking behind every tree and a mountain lion licking his chops on top of every rock.
Don't be loco. Sun's going down, Jed. Reckon we better stop right here for the night.
Yeah. It'll be dry camp. No water for miles.
Our canteens are full. Steady, horse. What are you acting so nervous for? There's nothing around here.
Get him right down!
Say, it wasn't late yet. It's Barton and a gang of cutthroats. Grab your gun.
Don't give him a chance! Get him pointing up the guns from their holsters! He'll never get away! Not now!
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. It was night when the Lone Ranger and Tonto reached the Segundo, following the trail of the two surveyors. The moon had risen. On the east side of the shallow stream, the ground was level and fertile. But on the far side, the ground was broken. Judas trees and giant cacti looked like strange ghosts in a pale landscape. It was forbidding country, and the masked man knew it.
Right up, Tonto! Right up!
Kimosabe. Trail clear, moonlight. Tracks go straight into water. We follow, huh?
No, right up on this side. Steady, Silver.
Look up.
They're quicksand in the Segundo, Tonto. Might gallop straight into one.
But plenty quicksand. But trails show on the other side of water. That mean no quicksand here.
Still, we're going to wait.
Wait for what, huh?
For morning, Kimosabe.
Oh.
For two reasons. First of all, you know how the land changes on the western side of the river.
That's right. Ground get rocky.
Too rocky to follow a trail by moonlight. Might lose it completely.
How do I not think of that?
Besides, that whole country is treacherous. In between the rocky patches are stinks and potholes. Quicksand that can swallow a dozen horses and their riders.
But what about Walters and Davis?
We can't help them trailing blind. Tomorrow morning, we'll cross the other bank and pick up the trail again.
Maybe they already ambushed, huh?
They run into Barton and his men, and Barton shot to kill, and we're too late to help them. If Barton wanted them alive, then he'll keep them alive. At least for a while. And we camp here, Tonto.
Kinsel.
Yeah, Barton.
You keeping watch?
Sharp as the way you play poker, Barton. Moon's so bright I can see almost as far as the segundo. If anybody comes heading west, I'll spot them in plenty of time.
Keno, keep on watching. I'm going to talk to Walters and Davis.
Right.
Howdy, Pedro. You keeping watch?
Si, senor. Hey, watch good.
How you hombres? Keeping watch?
Yes,
I reckon it'll take a share to surprise us tonight.
Howdy, Barton.
Howdy, Spencer. Well, gents, are you nice and comfortable?
As comfortable as a couple of jackrabbits and a nest of rattlesnakes. Why didn't you shoot us down and be done with it, Barton?
No. That's no way to talk, Davis. I'm right friendly.
Friendly? You're a pack of wolves.
Make up your mind. First it's rattlesnakes and then it's wolves. Make up your mind.
I can't. I don't know which is worse.
You sure are a comical cuss, Davis. Oh, you having a mite of trouble with your shoulder, Walters? Now, that's too bad. I told the boys not to shoot at you.
Yeah, I'll bet you did.
It's a fact. You see, Walters, I don't like to have my poker games interrupted. What you and Davis called me don't set easy with me. It's been bothering me. I meant to finish you last night at the gambling hall. Still of the same mind.
Why didn't you shoot us down like Jed says?
Oh, no, Walters. That's too easy. You die too quick. No. Last night I sat up thinking about you two hombres. The Iron Spur's paying me to get rid of you because you're valuable to the railroad. But now I got extra reasons, my own reasons. That's why I want to get a lot of satisfaction out of the way you die. You savvy?
The way we die?
Yeah. Sort of a slow death. I'll enjoy it more.
Why, you want to repose
down, Davis?
This gun might go off sudden. You planned this right from start to finish, Barton, didn't you? You even sent this hombre out with a note.
Colonel Parkman never wrote that note.
Sure, I wrote it. Pretty good copy, wasn't it?
You forged signatures as well as cheated cards, don't you?
Why, you... No, you can't get me riled, Davis. Nothing can get me riled. Not when I got my revenge all figured out.
My arm could do with a little fixing.
Oh, why, Fred. This time tomorrow night, your arm won't bother you. Nothing will bother you.
What do you mean?
You'll be under the ground. Both of you. More than 6 feet under. But we won't have to bury you.
I don't savvy.
Fancy. It means quicksand.
Quicksand?
Yeah, Walters. Tomorrow the boys will pick out a nice patch. And then tomorrow evening, we take you there and drop you in. Just about sundown tomorrow.
Tonto, right up.
What's got? Oh, Silver. What's wrong, Kimasabi?
Look up ahead. We found them.
Oh, Barton and gang, huh?
And they've got Walters and Davis with them.
What they do?
And the sun's going down, Tonto. They won't notice us behind this rock. We'll watch and see. Take your lariat and shake it loose.
Huh?
Go ahead. We may need our ropes. Now watch. If the time comes, we may have to move in fast, odds or no odds.
Yeah, take a good look at it, Walters. It's as neat a patch of quicksand as you ever saw, huh? Make sure they're tied good and tight, Spencer.
They're tied up like steers for the brandis.
Tino, lift them off their horses.
Lend a hand, Kinsel. Yeah. Now, Davis.
That's right. Hey, what's the matter with you two hombres? Haven't you got anything to say?
This is murder, Barton. You know that.
Oh, that's sure an original remark. Can you do better, Davis?
They'll get you for this, Barton. You may kill us, but you'll never stop the railroad. They'll come after you. The army will come after you. And you'll hang for it. When the rope's around your neck, maybe you'll look out and see the railroad train going by.
The Iron Spur will finish the railroad the same as we're finishing you. You'll sink, so will the railroad. Oh, that shoulder still troubling you, Walters? Oh, forget it. You know, some quicksand don't look like quicksand. Some of it's mighty deceptive. Got grass growing over it, just like regular prairie grass. Fellow might blunder right in before he knowed it. But not this patch. It's just bare sand, isn't it? Wet and shiny. Not even a tenderfoot could mistake about this stand. Yeah, when they send out a search party and find hoof marks all around here, they'll know you didn't walk into it.
They'll know it was murder. They'll know the iron spur did it.
Yeah, that's just what we want them to know.
Stand down, Barton.
Keno, grab him. Swing him and throw him in right in the middle.
Bring him, Hydro Gun Davis. Take Walter's feet, you two.
Jed.
Adios, Vince.
Adios, Jed.
Swing him. Now let him go when I say 3. 1, 2, 3. Right plumb center. Now stand around, boys, and watch him sink out of sight. Stand around and watch. What in blazes?
Barton, there's 2 riders.
The masked man and the Indian. They're swinging loose. The masked man's shooting. Look out!
The outlaws raced for their horses, grabbed for their guns. The ranger had planned well. In a flash, Silver and Scout stopped and whirled the car edge of the quicksand. The masked man and the Indian spun their lariats. The loops dropped and tightened over the bodies of the 2 men knee-deep in the bog. Then a shout from the Lone Ranger. The 2 horses moved away from the bog. Taut ropes fastened to the saddle horns pulled the 2 men loose from the clutching quicksand.
Hello, left Davis on Scout. Silver will carry Walters. Easy, masked man, my shoulder. We've got to hurry, Walters. I'll be as easy as I can. Steady, Silver.
You get up on Scout, Davis. I'm tired, Injun. I can't hold on.
I'll hold you on. All right, fellow Gallop. Head east for the Segundo. Hurry, Barton's men are already circling the quicksand.
They caught us by surprise. Did you see that, Barton? They had their lariats all ready. They threw ropes around Walters and Davis and bulldogged them right onto solid ground. We hadn't had to circle around the quicksand. We'd have caught them easy.
Shut up, you hombre. Shut up and listen to me.
There's a dozen of us. We can outgun them any day.
Yeah, that's just it, Spencer. That's just what we're going to do. We're going to ride after them and catch them.
Like you loco, Barton. Those horses are fast.
Sure, they're fast, but they're carrying double. Look, they're not so far ahead.
That's so.
You're doggone right, Kinsel. It's one thing for us to try and catch the masked man and the Indian when they're riding single. But this time we got it. Now ride! We'll catch them long before they even get to the Secunda Run. Ride!
Man, I can see Barton and his outlaws. I can see him clear in the moonlight. They're catching up on us. Yes, I see them. You can't outrace them with a horse carrying double. No use trying to save us. Drop us off and go on yourself. There where you are.
Vince is right, mister. Forget about it.
You stand, Scout. You'll never make the Segundo. You'll not even head the right way. Hello, here's where we swing. This way, Scout. Now, what tarnation did you do that for? They gained a good 50 feet just because our horses circled that patch of grass.
Now you're slowing up. Masked man, what's the idea?
We know what we're doing. We know all about that patch of grass. Well, they're coming lickety-split, a dozen of them. You can't fight them all. Let them come, Walters. Let them come.
Come on, they're slowing down. The horses must be played out. Down to a walk. Go right for it. There's only a couple of 100 feet past that patch of grass. There's rock on both sides of that section, Bob.
Yeah, there's plenty of room for all of us. Davis and Walters got no guns. It's just the 10 of us against those 2. Come on, right on through. Right on tight. Put the horses down. I said, get out. Barton is quicksand. Quicksand.
When the Lone Ranger and Tonto rode back toward them, the fight was completely gone from the men of the Iron Spur. Horses and riders alike struggled for their lives in the grip of the quicksand. Men dropped their guns, clawing over each other, trying to get to solid ground.
Help! Help! Get me out of here! Help! Get me out of here!
Quiet, all of you, listen. Keep quiet, Barton. Listen to me. What I knew about this patch of quicksand deliberately led you into it. We knew you'd be too anxious to catch us to even notice it.
You can't leave us here. It's murder.
That's what you tried to do to us.
In the name of mercy, help! I'm up to my waist.
There's no more fight left in you.
No, just get me out. Just get me out. That's all I ask. You can't let us die. Put us in jail. Do anything.
All right, we'll get you out. I see most of you have lost your guns. Throw the rest down at once.
All right, that's fine.
Hello, here's my rope. Davis and Walters will help you.
Yeah, we're untied now.
Put the horses out first. They'll have more lariats. You shouldn't have any trouble getting everyone safely out of the quicksand.
We'll tie them up tighter than the funnel of a twister.
All right, Silver.
You must have you go now?
Yes, Tonto. I'll ride to the end of the track and bring out an army detail to take these men in charge. I'll see you later. Adios. Hey, you can't leave now. You said you'd save us. You better. Shut your mouth, Barton. Maybe you're used to dealing off the bottom of the deck and cheating on your word, but the Lone Ranger always does what he says. Nobody's leaving you. We're pulling you out.
We pull you out and put you in jail. Here come rope.
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
Mum. M-U-M. Mum is the word for charm. Yes, it's Dinah. Here's Dinah Shore, America's sweet swinging singer, chosen by the radio editors as the most popular girl singer on the air. Brought to you by Bristol Myers Company, with a suggestion that you make Mum your word for charm. Ladies and gentlemen, Dinah Shore.
He's a Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die, a real life nephew of my Uncle Sam's, born on the 4th of July. I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart, he's my Yankee Doodle joy. Yankee Doodle came to London just to ride the ponies. He is a Yankee Doodle boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. He's a Yankee Doodle boy.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening, Truman, and hiya, fellas. Well, fine.
Well, Dinah, it's front and center for you again with songs for the men in service on behalf of the girls back home. And I hope all the fellows everywhere heard that song, too.
Thank you, Truman. If they did, maybe they'll let us know by V letter.
V letter, Dinah?
Uh-huh. That's what they're calling the Army's proposed new overseas mail service.
Uh-huh.
I get that right. New overseas mail service.
That's a toughie.
The fellas' letters are photographed on tiny negatives that come flying home by air. Then they're enlarged again and sent on to the girls.
I see. Well, that way 1,000 letters can be sent in the space of one, huh?
That's the idea, Truman. But V letters are good old-fashioned pen and ink. You can bet most of the mail will be saying some of the things closest to our boys' hearts. And I guess the gist of them can be summed up just about like this. I remember you. You're the one who made my dreams come true a few kisses ago. I remember you.
you're the one who said I love you too. I do, didn't you know? I remember too a distant day and stars that fell like rain out of the blue. When my life is through and the angels ask me to recall the thrill of them all, then I shall tell them I remember
Well, here's a refreshing picture. A picture of young love, Mary and Jim, sitting close together in the porch swing, looking at the bright moon in the sky, saying nothing at all, too happy to speak. And here's a picture not so refreshing. It's Jane next door, sitting in the shadow, sitting alone, saying to herself,
why is it that Mary sits out there in the swing with the man she loves, and I always sit alone?
Mary can answer that question for you, Jane. She can tell you how you can be more popular, help you to discover what she discovered many, many months ago. A sure way to banish undaintiness. The Mum way. Yes, with Mum. That's M-U-M, Mum, the snowy white underarm deodorant cream. You see, Mum really safeguards the daintiness your bath gives you. Your bath does take care of the past, of course. But then Mum protects your daintiness in the hours ahead. You can apply it at any time, after you're dressed if you like. It takes only 30 seconds. But it gives you sure, dependable protection all through the day or evening. And all the time, you can be sure that Mum is safe, does not irritate your skin, does not harm the fabric of your daintiest dress. So no wonder Mum is growing in popularity every day. No wonder so many thousands of modern women and alert men use it every day. It doesn't let you down. Why don't you get a jar from your druggist tomorrow and discover the sure way, the Mum way, for yourself?
The gentleman who only a week ago was conducting a symphony orchestra in the George Gershwin Memorial Concert now demonstrates his versatility by playing some low-down boogie-woogie. Our maestro, Gordon Jenkins, with Charles Levere at the other piano, presents Cow Cow Boogie.
wait just a minute. What goes on here?
Well, you didn't think you could go out and get yourself all married up without our even mentioning it, did you, Truman?
Well, Dinah, that's really very nice. But, well, for one thing, I'm not married yet.
You won't be able to say that tomorrow night, Truman. But seriously, all our congratulations.
Well, thanks a lot, Dinah. But, my wedding isn't the only one during this month of June. I understand there have been quite a lot of them.
I guess so, Truman. And in the songs, at least, some of them have had even an international aspect.
Mm-hmm. Something like Johnny Doughboy and that Irish Rose?
Just about, only I happen to be thinking about a case that developed like this. He was a handsome young Irish lad, and she was a Mexican beauty. It was fiesta, and I might add, romantically he was on duty. A boy and a girl neath the stars. I can tell it in 64 bars. His Irish heart went bingo when he saw the Rose of Juarez. Conchita, Marquita, Lolita, Pepita, Rosita, Juanita Lopez. Oh, you're a lovely thing, oh. For me, there's but one girl, he said. Conchita, Marquita, Lolita, Pepita, Rosita, Juanita Lopez. Mandolins began to play, and her lips were there to kiss. As they danced, I heard him say, New Jersey was never like this. The bells began to ring, oh, as they rode away on a mule. To prove I'm not joking, if you're in Hoboken, drop in for a minute and you'll meet Conchita, Marquita, Lolita, Pepita, Rosita, Juanita, O'Toole. And there's little Teresa, Maria, Elisa, and Patsy and Molly and Mike. And there's Jose and Pancho and Pedro and Sancho and Tommy and Timmy and Spike. Of course there are others, they're sisters and brothers, they're older and they go to school.
Flash, the doctor announces 8 pounds, 7 ounces.
One more for Lopez and O'Toole.
Dinah Shore and the Song of the Week, the old favorites selected with the girls for special delivery to the men in camps at home and abroad, in the air and on ships at sea.
Fellas, here at home, we're never too busy for a thought of you. And the song the girls have named this week looks back on those good times we all had together once, and we will have again very soon. The way you wear your hair, the way you sip your tea, the memory of all that. No, they can't take that away from me. The way your smile just beams, the way you sing off-key, the way you haunt my dreams. No, they can't take that away from me. We may never meet again on the bumpy road to love. Still, I'll always keep the memory of the way you hold your knife, the way we danced till 3, the way you've changed my life. No, they can't take that away. No,
I can't take that away from Dip your pen in sunshine, drop the boys a line. Let's do it, girls, right now while we're thinking about it. No one but you can tell him the things he really wants to hear.
Right, Dinah. And I know you have another word or two, but first, just a reminder for you listeners. Won't you remember to make Mum your word for charm? Get a jar of Mum. That's M-U-M, Mum, from your druggist tomorrow.
This is Dinah Shore saying good night. Good night to all you men in the service, from us girls you left behind. Good night, fellas. Night, girls. Night, everybody.
Remember, next Friday night, Dinah Shore, same station. Truman Bradley speaking. This program came to you from Hollywood. This is the Blue Network.
KECA, Los Angeles, Earl C. Anthony Incorporated, Packard Distributors.
CBS World News brings you the early morning reports of its correspondents for the news of the world on Thursday, June 25th. Today we shall call in Washington and London and attempt to get you a report direct by shortwave radio from Cairo. In addition, Harry Marble will give you the latest news from points not covered by our direct pickup. But first, here are the highlights today. The British report Axis forces already well inside Egypt. The Red Army defenders of Sevastopol again have been forced back. In China, the news appears a little better. While in the Southwest Pacific, action was limited to aerial reconnaissance, this time over the Celebes Islands. And now for more news and to call in Columbia's correspondent, here is Harry Marble.
Before calling in Washington this morning, here is the situation in Russia. The newspaper Pravda admitted that heavy German pressure, without regard to losses, again has forced the Russians back on the northern sector of the Sevastopol front. But the BBC, as heard by Columbia Shortwave Listening Post, reports that the Russians have landed Marines on the south coast of the Crimea to outflank the Nazi attackers. To the north, at Kharkov in the Ukraine, the midnight Soviet communique said Red Army forces had repulsed the Nazi infantry and tank attacks. On other sectors, the official war bulletin said there were no changes. And now let's hear from CBS correspondents in important world centers. Our first report comes this morning from our own nation's capital, so we take you now to Washington.
CBS Washington, John Purcell reporting. The Roosevelt-Churchill conferences are nearing completion, and observers here expect word soon on what has been accomplished in the daily conversations held since last Friday. Today, the President and Prime Minister will meet at the White House with congressional leaders. This group will include key men in Republican congressional circles, as well as their Democratic colleagues. It is assumed that the two Allied leaders would make known the decisions they have reached and review the war situation. There are reports, too, that some of the congressional group would like to question Mr. Churchill about America's part in the opening of the Second Front. That is, just what amount of American aid is needed. Following the congressional conference, the two Allied leaders will meet with the Pacific War Council. The war in the Pacific has not claimed the attention of Allied leaders in the last week, as much as the more critical situations in Russia and Africa. But during the week, Chinese Foreign Minister T.D. Song was called into the discussion. The situation in China, as you know, has become critical mostly because of the failure to supply China with sufficient air power. Prime Minister Mackenzie King of Canada has arrived here to take part in the Pacific War Council meeting. And undoubtedly, there will be some discussion of the Japanese occupations in the Aleutians. Both American and Canadian airmen have been bombing Jap landing forces on Atsu and Kiska, but have been hampered by the fogs that encircle the Aleutian chain. Since Sunday, there has been no announcement of developments in that area. General Arnold, the Chief of the Army Air Force, will appear today before the Senate Appropriations Committee to answer a few questions on the $43 billion Army supply bill. One subject he will discuss is that of the relative merits of American and Japanese fighting planes. Senator Thomas of Oklahoma says he has been informed that the Jap Zero fighter is among the fastest in the world. Airmen here admit this, but also point out that the Zero fighter has sacrificed armor and self-sealing gas tanks for speed and maneuverability. They They say that a well-directed cannon shot will blow any Zero fighter out of the air. But of course, American fighting pilots would like to see industrial inventiveness and fighter production catch up with that displayed in the manufacture of bombers. This capital is intensely interested in the growing feeling of resentment in Argentina against the Hitler regime. As you know, German U-boats have torpedoed 3 Argentine merchant ships. But it is regarded here as unlikely that Argentina will veer from her course of strict neutrality. The government is under heavy pressure to change its attitude from that adopted during the Rio Conference. You will recall that all of the South American nations, except Argentina and Chile, agreed to sever diplomatic relations with the Axis. Last night, angry mobs stormed the German embassy at Buenos Aires. Newspapers are demanding some kind of diplomatic action. But official Washington expects no more than another protest dispatched to the German government and possibly a cabinet shake-up in the South American country. As far as the United States is concerned, this is strictly a matter between Argentina and Germany. This is John Purcell in Washington, returning you to CBS New York.
Next, across the Atlantic to the British capital. We take you now to London. CBS London. Charles Collingwood reporting. The British got 5 German bombers last night. German raids on England were on a little larger scale than usual. Bombs were dropped along the coast, and some of the raiders penetrated inland as far as Britain's great industrial area of the Midlands. This morning's British communique says that some damage was done, but the number of casualties was not large. The 5 German aircraft destroyed must have been a substantial percentage of the raiding force. British bombers last night attacked the submarine base at Saint-Nazaire without loss. This raid on Saint-Nazaire was evidently a small one, but it fits into the present air strategy of the British Bomber Command. British bombers are concentrating on German U-boats. Daylight reconnaissance yesterday showed that the U-boat yards at Emden were still burning after Monday night's raid. Those submarine yards were one of the main targets of the raid. And diesel engine factories at Cologne, which make engines for U-boats, were aimed at in the famous 1,000 bomber raid. And then last night, the RAF struck at Saint-Nazaire, the nest from which many U-boats go out into the Atlantic. The RAF is doing its part in the never-ending battle of the Atlantic. Inside Britain, the repercussions of the fall of Tobruk still dominate the scene. Today's communique from Cairo reveals that the British Eighth Army has abandoned the frontier line and taken a long step back into Egypt. This has not surprised military experts, but to the public it looks bad. British public opinion is no more constant than any other public opinion, and the Libyan retreat has changed the whole public attitude toward the war. The optimism of this spring has ended, and the British have once again realized that the war is still a long way from being won. They're just as sure, though, as ever, that the war will be won. Political prophets are guessing that the Middle East situation must have changed the tenor of the conversations which Mr. Churchill is having in Washington. That may or may not be so, but it has certainly changed the British attitude to them. The disposition to believe that a second front is imminent has given way to a new realization that a second front depends on more than the desire to create one. The war has suddenly come to seem very large. The misfortunes of the Eighth Army in Libya have caused people to think of the many fronts on which the war is already being fought. The defeat in Libya has come here in London to be a symbol of all the difficulties which lie between the present position and victory. The British are awaiting with some impatience Mr. Churchill's return to this country. But the first thing they want to hear from him is not hints of the decisions which were made in Washington, but a survey and an explanation of the setback in the Middle East. Mr. Churchill is expected to make such a statement to the House of Commons after he gets back. The House will doubtless be in a restive mood, but the danger of any real parliamentary revolt is growing less and less. The insurgents in the House, those who in the first heat of anger were ready to declare their lack of confidence in the government, has not increased, although a no-confidence motion signed by 21 members of Parliament is down for debate. Most observers expect the Prime Minister to mollify the House
with a frank account of the setbacks and of the dangers which follow from it. While London is talking and debating, the Eighth Army, now across the border, is preparing for the defense of Egypt. Our next report comes from the capital of Egypt. We take you now to Cairo.
CBS Egypt, Edward Shore reporting. 3 German columns crossed the Egyptian frontier yesterday at Madalena, 60 miles south of the coast. British mobile forces and the Royal Air Force engaged them all day yesterday, inflicting heavy losses on the enemy. 1 German column turned north towards the coast road, while the other 2 proceeded east in the direction of Mersa Matruh. By last light yesterday evening, these 2 columns had reached a point southeast of Sidi Barrani. British troops have withdrawn from their positions at Saloum and Sidi Omar. In the air, American liberators and British Wellingtons yesterday carried out what is considered the biggest and heaviest raid yet on shipping and the harbor installations at Benghazi. Details of the raid are not yet available. Our observer, writing from advanced headquarters, says, "We are waiting for the battle for Egypt to begin. The waiting is not very pleasant. It's hot out here and a hot summer drift desert. Too hot to let you touch even the steel fenders of your car at midday without scorching your hands. But heat isn't the only thing. The breeze is throwing the powder-fine dust about in choking clouds. Dust gets into everything, your tea, your stew, your eyes, your nose. Those are the conditions in which the 8th Army is meeting Rommel's latest rise. Out here, he says, we are still all of us puzzled about the mystery of Tobruk. Why did Tobruk fall? Well, we just don't know. Officers and men who took part in the fighting are already beginning to straggle back. It is possible from their stories to piece together some sort of a picture of the storming of Tobruk. The 8th Army had ample warning of the possibility that Tobruk would again be besieged, and they heeded that warning. There was a strong force inside when the Axis went through the defenses like a hot knife through butter. It simply seems that shock tactics worked again. That Rommel, the great military gambler, took a chance on putting his tanks in the defensive perimeter, disrupting and throwing into confusion the British and South African troops, and exploiting the advantage he had gained where they were still stunned by the speed of it all. Anyway, it worked. I am told, he says, that the cost of maintaining each man in the Tobruk garrison was $45 a day, figured, of course, on the cost of ships lost in carrying supplies, aircraft lost in defending the area, ammunition fired off by the artillery, and so on. So, the British have gone, and it's no use denying the importance of the blow. British prestige is not actually British capacity to conduct the desert campaign has suffered in the loss. Yesterday, he writes, the first enemy shells fell on Egyptian soil again. I was standing on the ridge a few miles from Saloum when the enemy rockets started shelling. It was the first sign that the Germans were within striking distance of the frontier. No doubt the artillery attack was a triumph to a general front. I came up the road in the morning to a sector of the Saloum front and spent an hour with the British gunners there. They were having things all their own way just then. A troop of 4.5 howitzers was right forward, slinging shells over the lip of the steep escarpment in the general area of Caputo. At this time, there was no information of strong enemy concentrations there. On the contrary, the observer, who was moving around the top of the escarpment, could see nothing but odd vehicles coming and going around Caputo. Not even a large convoy, much less an armored column. There is no doubt that the 8th Army has taken a heavy knock in recent fighting, but it is still a formidable fighting force, despite the loss of many men and considerable equipment at Tobruk. The 8th Army will probably prove the truth of this claim within the next few days. That was a dispatch from our observer at the front. In the Egyptian Chamber of Deputies yesterday, the Egyptian Prime Minister, dealing with the present situation, stated that he was fully convinced that despite all difficulties, the situation is satisfactory, and that the position of Egypt's ally, Great Britain, is better than it was last year. The British government, he said, categorically affirms that Britain is firmly resolved to resist to the utmost extent any and all aggression against Egyptian territory. The Prime Minister went on by issuing a stern warning to rumor mongers, who he said would be dealt with by severe and swift military punishment. He stated, in the present circumstances, it was the duty of everyone inhabiting Egypt to remain vigilant and cautious, and to denounce immediately any rumor mongers or spies. This is Edward Shore in Cairo, returning you to CBS, New York.
General MacArthur radioed this message today
to his friend, General Sir Claude J. Auchinleck, Commander-in-Chief of the recently defeated British Middle East forces, said, MacArthur, you can do it. You can still fight your way through. Remember Wellington. You have just heard from Columbia's correspondents across the world reporting the latest news direct by shortwave radio. This morning you heard from John Purcell in Washington, from Charles Collingwood in London, and Edward Cholian in Cairo. Harry Marble reporting for CBS World News. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The Adventures of Jungle Jim. The Adventures of Jungle Jim is based on the characters in the full-color action pictures which appear every Sunday in the Comic Weekly. You'll find the best cartoonists and artists appearing each week in this fine comic section. You'll follow with interest the continued action stories, and you'll laugh with such famous comics as Bringing Up Father, Skippy, Barney Google, the amusingly ridiculous Donald Duck, as well as pages and pages of others. All in full color. All to be found in the Comic Weekly, which comes to you with the many great Hearst and other Sunday newspapers from coast to coast. Make a note to get it this Sunday. It's tops in entertainment. And now, The Adventures of Jungle Jim. Jim Bradley, relieved of active duties in our armed forces because of injuries sustained when he captured 2 Nazi spies, is having no difficulty finding adventure. However, this morning, Jim is rather glad that he has nothing to spoil his enjoyment of a lovely summer day. He has just finished breakfast when Kolu comes in.
That you, Kolu?
Yes, Tuan Jim.
Where'd you disappear to? Served me my breakfast, and before I knew it, you were gone.
Kolu get wash at Chinese man.
Oh, the laundry. Say, how is Joe Tong, Kolu?
Joe not there. Other man give me wash. I say, where is Joe? Other man say, he be gone from laundry, not come back.
I see. Well, let's see if our laundry has a nice clean shirt for me. I think I'll wear this white one here. Hello, what's this?
Piece of paper stuck in collar band.
It's a note from Joe Tong. Honorable Sir, forgive this inestimable person for daring to be so bold as to acquaint you with his danger. But fortune has decreed that I am to be insignificant pawn in plot of detested Japanese. I am in haste, so forgive this unscholarly epistle. May the gods smile upon you. Signed, Joe Tong.
Joe Tong have trouble?
It certainly looks like it.
But he not say how you help him.
Say, Kolu, when were we supposed to pick up this wash?
Joe Tong say wash be ready Tuesday.
And this is Thursday. He probably expected us to find this note 2 days ago. Come on.
What we do?
Kolu, we're going to that laundry and try to warm up a cold trail.
No, me no understand. All me know, Joe Tong go away very quick. No come back. Me no understand.
But where did he go?
He no say, just go. No come back. Me no understand.
Well, come on, Kolu. Doesn't look as if we're going to get much out of this fellow.
Me don't know. He go away. Me, that all.
What we do now, Tuan Jim?
Well, I'd like to go to his home. Maybe we'll be able to find more out there.
Then we go to Joe Tong house.
You know where he lives?
Yes, Kolu know. Once I go to his house for wash. When shop close on holiday.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go.
This is door to Joe Tong house.
I hope we're not too late. No answer.
We go in any way, Tuan Jim?
Well, it isn't exactly ethical, Kolu, but I guess we'll have to force an entry. Well, say, the door's unlocked.
No one here.
Guess not. Place seems to be in order. Let's look in the other room. Hey, Kolu, take a look at this.
Someone smash all glass bottles and tubes.
Papers torn. This room is certainly a mess. Looks like a chemical laboratory, Kolu. Did you know Joe was a chemist?
No, Tuan Jim.
Hey, wait a minute. Look at this.
What one?
This diploma from Yale University. Dr. Moy Tong.
That be his name. Name not really Joe.
Hey, this is getting more complicated by the minute.
Where is Tong?
That's the question. We only knew where he was. But we've got as much chance of...
Not hot to find renowned Dr. Tom, Mr. Treasury.
What? Why, you're the...
Yes, we just have conversation in laundry shop. So sorry. I have caused you surprise. We walk very quietly.
What's the big idea?
Excuse, please. That is, I having revolver in my hand. One move and I shall find it necessary to use same. Please instruct servant, I mean my words.
Don't do anything, Colo.
Very good. I notice he trying to come close, take me unawares. It is very foolish, is it not?
What have you done with Dr. Tong?
You shall discover for yourself. You see, Mr. Bradley, when you're asking many questions in laundry shop, I become very suspicious. I know you will come here.
Say, you're not Chinese.
No, I am Japanese. But fortunately for my country's purpose, I look like Chinese. Now, if you will be so kind as to come with me, I will take you to Dr. Moi Tong. So sorry, must bringing you up to headquarters place in Rory Freight Elevator, Mr. Bradley. But you must understand why necessary.
Save your phony politeness.
As you prefer, Mr. Bradley. Now, if you and your servant, Kuro, will be so kind as to step out of the elevator.
How can we see where we're going with these blindfolds over our eyes?
Yes. Very true. You may remove blindfold now.
Thanks. It's really too good of you.
Do not attempt to wrest gun from my grasp, Mr. Bradley. It would prove fatal.
Okay. You warned me before.
Very, very good. Now we enter a secret abode of my superior. You see, I pressing a little hidden button and a door opens in war. Please to enter.
Go in, Kolo.
Kolo not like this, Twanjim.
Neither do I, Kolo. But we must find Moi Tong.
Kolo go.
Very good. I will inform my superior of your presence. Please to take your ease until I return.
Kolo, there's a window there. Help me with these heavy shutters.
Yes, Twanjim.
We must be over 20 stories above the street. A skyscraper hideout. Not bad. I wish I knew where we were exactly.
That man not let us see when we come in car.
Well, there's a desk, maybe. Kolo, look here.
You're looking for something, Mr. Bradley?
What?
I asked, were you looking for something? You seemed so interested in the contents of my desk.
Who are you?
An impertinent question, Mr. Bradley. But since you've discovered my writing paper with the letterhead of the firm on it...
Carroway. John Carroway. Importer of Oriental objects of art.
You may call me John Carroway, Mr. Bradley. It's a good name, and it will serve.
So this Oriental art business is just a front, eh? What have you done with Dr. Tong?
An interesting question, Mr. Bradley. Before I answer it, would you mind answering one of mine first? Why are you so interested in the learned doctor?
He's my friend.
Oh. Could it be that he has practically perfected a formula for a decontamination gas that will render harmless any poisonous gas known?
Oh, so that's it. That's why he was kidnapped and brought here, huh?
And you didn't know. Well, I've been letting the cat out of the bag, haven't I? But no matter, your knowledge will do you no good.
I'd like to speak to Dr. Moi Tong.
I ask why?
Put it down to curiosity, Mr. Carroway.
Speaking of curiosity, you've heard the old proverb, Mr. Bradley, about curiosity killing a cat. A cat has 9 lives. A curious man has but 1.
Is that a threat?
Take it as you will.
I still want to see Dr. Tong.
Well, I see no reason why I should not grant this wish of yours, since it's likely to be your very last. I'll see that he's sent to you. Oh, by the way, Mr. Bradley, you and your man needn't try to escape. This room is well guarded. And as you've already noticed, we're 20 floors off the street.
Kolo, get that paper on the desk.
Paper, Twanjim?
Yes, hurry.
Here, Twanjim, what you do with paper?
I'm going to make toy airplanes, Kolo. Paper airplanes.
And so, Mr. Bradley, it is unimportant if my insignificant life is taken. I will not give up the formula to the enemy.
And you are the only person in the world who knows the formula?
Yes, Mr. Bradley. And now the secret of my gas must die with me. For they will surely kill me when they discover that I will not yield.
But Dr. Tong, quiet.
Well, gentlemen, have you had enough conversation?
I'd like to speak with the doctor just a little longer, if you don't mind.
It's very simple, Mr. Bradley, extremely simple. I'm going to give Dr. Tong one more chance before I take the painful but necessary steps to ensure my own safety.
Before you make known to me the necessary steps, Mr. Carway, may I humbly inform you that I am ready to die.
You won't give up the formula?
My brain will not be unlocked by thieves and murder.
I see. Of course, you, Mr. Bradley, and your man Kolu must also die.
Are you not satisfied with the taking of my life?
Don't let that make any difference, Doctor. I'd rather die than have you give your formula to them.
Kolu not afraid, Tuan Jim?
I knew you wouldn't be, Kolu.
All heroes, eh? Well, we shall see how you feel about it in a moment or so. Cato!
Yes, Master.
Are you ready?
Everything is ready now.
Good.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to give you a taste of mustard. In gas form, of course.
But we'll die. You'll never get the doctor's formula.
Yes, I've failed, Mr. Bradley. Now I must remove the evidence of my failure.
Mr. Bradley, I cannot allow you to sacrifice your life and the life of your faithful servant. I will tell you the formula, Mr. Carway.
Listen to me, Dr. Tong. Your formula can save thousands of lives. We are only 3.
Tuan Jim be right. I'm not afraid.
Honor, gentlemen, my humble respects to your kind.
Very well, gentlemen. You've made your choice. However, if the gas gets to be too much for you, there's a buzzer over my desk. If you buzz, it means that the learned doctor is ready to talk.
I don't think we'll need it.
Very well.
If you should care to reconsider.
I made my choice, Dr. Tong. Here it comes. Stay away from it as long as possible. We still have one chance in a million.
Kolu, not like... It's not very pleasant, Kolu.
Soon we will join our ancestors.
Get up on top of this desk. Gas is heavy.
Open up in there! Open up in the name of the law!
Help! Help in here! Help!
Bring it down, men. Come on, come down. I'll get it now. All right.
How you feeling, young fella?
Better.
Able to talk?
Yeah. Did you catch them? Caraway?
And a jab?
Yeah.
Sure did. You know, it's a lucky thing we got there when we did. A few more minutes of that gas, you'd all been goners. We had the pulmoners on you all for over an hour.
Where are they?
Dr. Tog and the big chap Kulu are right behind us in another ambulance. They're going to be both all right.
Good. And you got the note?
Yeah, but that's the darndest way I've ever seen of sending a message. Writing it on toy paper airplanes and shooting them out of the window. Toy airplanes. Just think of it.
And so Jim Bradley defeats the enemy with a toy paper aeroplane. Listen in again.
The Treasury Star Parade. Produced under the personal direction of William A. Bacher with David Broekman and his orchestra and Fay Bainter and Paul Henreid in a John Latouche drama suggested by Louis Adamic's book, The Two-Way Passage.
Destiny of America, moving in many ways, rising, ever rising, a nation of nations, a people of peoples, a dream of dreams. Coming from the old country, mixing and moving up and down the land, moving ideas, moving skylines, writing, digging, building, singing. Those who came, the children of Plymouth Rock and the children of Ellis Island. One-way passage to Plymouth Rock. One-way passage to Ellis Island.
Ellis Island? That is where I will go first.
Yeah, they check you over and then slide you down a chute into Manhattan.
Manhattan?
Sure, that's the island New York's on, you know.
I see. And is work there, yeah?
Oh, sure, the country's booming. 1922 looks like the biggest year yet. A lot of new businesses starting, buildings going up, new towns mushrooming all over the place. Sure, you'll get a job right easy. Where you from?
Bonnebieren.
I never heard of it. German, huh?
Yeah.
Planning to hang around New York?
Nein. I go where here some from Bonnebieren go.
Well, where's that?
It is called, how do you say it? Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota, you mean?
Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're coming into port now. You still got a long way to go by train. Well, good luck.
Thank you, sir.
I am, you are, he is, she is, we are, you are, they are.
The One-Way Passage. Johann Schmidt, 25 years old, one of the millions who came to America looking for the right to work, the right to worship, and the right to say what he believed.
I come, you come, he comes. No, he comes.
Watching the country through the train windows, the curious, always changing landscape of the states, seeing in the names new to him the promise of democracy he had not found at home.
St. Paul, Minneapolis, Albertville, Clearwater, St. Augusta, Water, Little Falls, Belle Prairie, Topeka, Lenox.
Sorry, Mr. Schmidt. Library's closing now.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Kerr. I was reading so hard, I didn't notice.
What are you reading tonight?
I hope to better finish the book.
It's a nice book, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, I hate to shoo you out, but the janitor's about to shoo me out.
Oh. Perhaps I can see you home again?
That would be nice. Your store's coming along nicely, I hear.
Yeah. I mean, yes. Every day better.
You mean better every day.
Better every day. Sometimes it's hard to get it just right.
Do you think of the old country much?
Sometimes, yes. My parents are there. It's funny, already I feel American. But part of me is still there in the old country. There's so much to remember. The bright sun, the snow so white and clean, our little Lutheran church, the hymns we were singing, the woman laughing in the square.
Why should you forget that?
Then I remember, too, how the snow was cold because the people were poor and that had thin clothes. And sometimes the woman laughed to hide the tears. We sang in the churches, yeah, and the preacher said we were free men before God. But we were not free.
In this country, everyone is free. That's the way it's been planned from its beginning.
I know. Yet sometimes I'm afraid. I feel so alone.
Nonsense. I'm your friend.
There's so much to learn.
I'll help you learn. I see, you see, he sees, we see, they see. I love, you love, he loves, we love.
We love. Miss Jenny.
Joanne. Now I'll call you John. It's easier. Let's get on with our lesson. We love.
They loved. And like other Americans, they bought a little bungalow on a little street in a little suburb. And with Mr. and Mrs. John Schmidt, like the others, things went well. He worked hard in his store and became a part of his neighborhood. They had a child, and an electric refrigerator, and a car, and a flower garden. Happy in their world, they rarely thought of the world outside, where the earth was beginning to smolder. Flickers of lightning were beginning to flash in the European sky. Then, February 1933.
What's in the paper tonight, John?
Mostly election news. It looks like Franklin Roosevelt is going to make a fine president.
He got my vote anyway. We'll wait till March and see.
There's a little item here that the Reichstag has been burned.
What's the Reichstag?
Oh, like the White House in Germany, only different.
I can't keep track of their politics. Come to dinner, dear. Johnny's home from delivering his magazines.
That Hitler's fellow's made a misstatement about it.
Who's he?
Well, that's the crazy fellow that Mama writes about in her letters. Says he's steering up the young folks in Bonnebieren and all over the country.
Well, it's no business of ours. Let's go in and eat, dear. Maggie's so touchy about things getting cold.
It is our business in a way, Jenny. I can't help wondering.
You're an American now, John. Let them fight it out between themselves.
Don't forget, darling, I was born there.
Remember what President Coolidge said. You used to recite it.
Yes. Whether one traces his Americanism back 3 centuries to the Mayflower, or 3 years to the steerage, it is not half so important as whether his Americanism of today is real and genuine. No matter on what crafts we came here, we are all now in the same boat.
That's what I mean. Now let's go to dinner, dear.
But the fire in the Reichstag didn't stop there. It began to spread underground, a sinister, lurking fire, reaching out everywhere, silently, ominously. The Schmidts, like the rest of America, watched with consternation as the flames began to spread all over Europe, as each week's headlines grew in horror, as the countries began to arm themselves for a new conflict. But in Minnesota, Europe still seemed far away, until one morning as Jenny tended their grocery store.
Good morning. What can I do for you?
Guten Morgen, Frau Schmidt.
I am Mrs. Smith. Speak English, please. I don't speak German.
Very well.
What do you want?
I will waste no time coming to the point. We have been watching you for some time.
And who are you?
Friends. Our notes inform us that you and your husband both have good German blood. Are patronizing 3 Jewish firms in this town.
It's none of your business whom we patronize.
You are in error.
John!
Yes, Jenny, what is it?
This man.
We have only your best interests at heart. Last week you slammed your door in the face of Schroeder, your cleaner.
Yes, he was talking that Nazi nonsense. We want nothing of that.
As Germans...
We are not Germans. My wife is not. That is, and I am no longer.
You cannot escape the strength of blood. I repeat, as Germans you must cease to patronize the aforesaid Jewish firms. And you must resume the services of Schroeder, the cleaner.
Get out of here before I throw you out.
One moment. You will regret, Violet.
I said get out!
Your parents, Herr Schmidt, are Rudolf and Elsa Schmidt of Bonneville, nicht wahr?
What has that got to do with it?
Are they not?
Yes.
You read your American papers. You know that our party purges not only traitors, but those who share his blood. Why make your innocent parents suffer for your disloyalty?
Oh, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't dare.
We do what we must, Frau Schmidt. Those who stand in the way of our great destiny must be destroyed.
Jenny, what shall I do?
There's nothing we can do, John.
Good. I am glad you realize your duty. But remember, there will be those watching you to make sure that you carry out your duty. Good day. I will see you again.
What shall I do, Jenny? What are these people doing here in America? With their lies and threats and persecutions. Threatening our loved ones in the old country. Turning one good American against another just because they are of another race.
John, please.
It is like what that madman Govell said. He boasts that it will be easy to make a bloody revolution here in the United States.
No other country has so many social and racial tensions. We shall be able to play on many strings there.
Don't believe them, John. They don't understand. How can they? They have only fear and hatred in their hearts. How can they understand love and brotherhood? Look, John, my people came to this country 100 years ago. And since then, we've lived side by side with all sorts of other races and colors in unity and love and tolerance. We've built faith in each other and faith in the power of all of us together. We struggled side by side with the land against the Indians in spite of starvation and storms. And out of that faith, we raised our cities and built our machines and dug our mines in harmony and equality, John. We're not going to turn back now. We began as people. Then we became states. Then a union united in a common cause, all of us. No, we're not going to turn back now.
And Mr. and Mrs. Schmidt did not turn back. They, like the others in America, remained steadfast as the flaming headlines twisted up in the scarlet wind of war. War!
War. We're in it too, Jenny.
I'm glad. I knew we wouldn't be able to stay out of it. They wouldn't have let us if we'd wanted to.
Father. Hello, Mom.
John.
Yes, son?
Some fellows in our class are going to enlist for the Air Corps. I want to join, too.
No, Johnny.
Why not, Mother?
Oh, you're so young. You're only 19.
You only have to be 18, Mom. What do you say, Dad?
But no, Johnny. Wait a while. At least till you're through school. Another year, maybe.
The other side isn't waiting, are they, Mother? What do you say, Pop?
Yes, son. Go. Of course you must go. I'll be going too, I hope.
John.
I'll be going and using my other ticket.
What other ticket, John? I don't understand.
My ticket back. You remember what you said once about my passage here? You said all America had a passage here. A one-way passage. Leaving the old world to build a new one. We've built that new one. We've built a land of freedom and liberty. And now it's time for us to use our passage back. Time to take what we have learned here back to all of the places that we and our forefathers came from. We must go back and teach them these simple, beautiful things. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, equality, tolerance, decency, faith. All of the things that make life beautiful, that we have learned and make work here. This is a crisis for all the world. But it's more than that, too. It's an opportunity. Not just for the big shots and diplomats, but for us, the ordinary people everywhere. America has written us our ticket, our two-way passage back. And we are coming back. Do you hear over there? You liars! You gangsters! You traitors and murderers! We are coming back!
That is America's message to the world, the two-way passage to take liberty and freedom again to all the oppressed, the downtrodden peoples of the earth. We have pledged ourselves to that task, and we shall not fail. Are you doing your share? Are you investing at least 10% of your total income in United States Treasury War Savings bonds and stamps? If you are entitled to display the new Treasury War Bond sticker, and you and your entire family are entitled to wear the Treasury 10% button. They are your badge of honor as Americans.
Performance USA, the greatest entertainers in America, as requested by you, the fighting men of the United States Armed Forces throughout the world. Command Performance, presented this week and every week till it's over there. All aboard the Command Performance Streamliner, leaving Hollywood for all AEF stations on the fighting front. And at the throttle tonight, the four-star man of the Four Bell Pictures, Academy Award winner, and holder of the affection of all Americans, your master of ceremonies, Spencer Tracy.
Thank you, Paul Douglas. And hello, fellows. And a special hello to 5 Marine Corps lieutenants at Midway Island. On May 26th, one of you fighting Americans wrote in from APO 863 and said, "We are a battalion of doughboys somewhere in the Atlantic. And if you folks at home will furnish the dough, we'll furnish the boys. And together we'll furnish a new home for the world to live in." Well, count us in on that deal, mister. And keep counting on us till those 3 challengers take the count of 10 over there. Now let's dig into those letters and start your big show. For Sergeant A.B., and his buddies at APO 957 for those 5 Navy ships on the USS Whitney, and for scores of you in places we can't mention, command performance gets rolling with Liza and lovely Mary Lee.
Clouds roll away. Liza, Liza, don't delay. Come keep me company, and the clouds roll away. See, the honeymoon is shining down. We make a date with Parson Brown. So, Liza, Liza, name the day when you belong to me, and the clouds roll away. Liza, Liza, skies are gray. But if you come and take a chance with me, the clouds will roll away. Liza, Liza, don't delay. Come keep me company, and the clouds will roll away. The honeymoon is shining down. We make a date with Parson Brown. Liza, 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 name the day when you belong to me, and the clouds will roll away.
Thank you, Mary Lee. And thanks to Lou Forbes of Selznick Studios conducting Local 47's Command Performance Orchestra tonight. And now, fellows, here's a letter from somewhere on the high seas.
Dear Command Performance, we are still fighting for Denmark beside the sons of all the Allied nations. So we like to feel that we can ask Command Performance for our favorite entertainer, too. However, we do not write or speak very good English, but the man we ask for is our countryman, Victor Borges, signed K.A.R.
Thanks for the letter, K.A.R. And don't worry about the English language. You should hear what Victor Borges does to it with his phonetic punctuation. Here he is, fellows, Victor Borges.
When I came to this country about 19 months ago, I couldn't speak one word of English or any other language. And I tried to learn it as fast as possible by listening to people when they talk, and they talk very fast. So all I learned was so I tried to do the same thing, and I spoke very fast myself. And it went very good. But nobody understood what I said. So later on, I learned a few words, and now I think I understand quite a lot. But still, I think that people don't understand each other. And I tried to find the reason for that, and I think I found it. When you write a letter, you use punctuation, commas and periods and question marks and exclamation points. So if you write a sentence like, was I an idiot? And you put a question mark after, then it's a question whether you was or not. You have the same sentence with an exclamation point after. There isn't any doubt. But it still is the same sentence. So how do you know when you talk what you mean, when you don't see those signs of punctuation marks? And that's why I invented the phonetic punctuation. It means that while talking, you use punctuation marks. And I think this will improve the language. And I'll just give you a few examples how it would sound. Each little sign gets its own sound. So while you're talking, you use those sounds so you always understand what the sentences mean. If you have a period, you just do... Very simple. That's a period. Now comes a dash. A dash is... Now you have a period and a dash. Now comes an exclamation point. An exclamation point is a vertical dash with a period underneath. So now you can figure out what that is. All right, I'll help you. Exclamation point. Now, a comma. Comma is very simple. Just... And quotation mark are two commas. Just... Now, the most difficult of them all is the question mark. It takes almost 2 men to learn it. I think we are enough here anyway to learn it. And here's the question mark. Now we have only a colon left. A colon is a funny little sign. It contains of 2 small dots. You put them over or under each other as you prefer it. And if you don't want to do that, you can do it the other way. And now I have a little book here written by Shakespeare. And it contains a couple of short stories. And I just find one, so you can get an idea how it sounds. But when just find the right one here. Here's one right in the middle of the book on page 2. It happened in the year 1296. In the open window there suddenly came light. Beautiful Eleanor sat alone dreaming of but one thing. Two years had passed since she met Sir Henry. She could still remember the unhappy evening when her father had thrown him out. They had been sitting in the park, and Henry had said, "Darling, is this the first time you have loved?" And she had answered, "Yes. But it is so wonderful that I hope it will not be the last." Suddenly she heard a well-known sound. She heard it again, and again. It was he. In 2 strides he was near her, embraced, kissed, and caressed her. "Henry! What is love?" she asked. He answered, "Well, I cannot live without." He asked, "Where have all your thoughts been in this while?" And he had answered, "With thee, O maiden." Oh. I'm sorry, this is wrong. This should have been a there, but... Suddenly he was gone. All she heard was the well-known sound of his retreating horse.
Thank you, Victor Borger. Not long ago, an Army chaplain came out of the North Atlantic to pay a little visit to Washington, D.C. He's back again with his detachment. But we know that he and his boys are listening tonight, for here's the number of the great musical organization we promised him. For the boys at APO numbers 858 and 859, the King's Men, and Hey Mabel.
There's a girl who lives next door to me, who's got the fellas up in a tree. They all go for her in a great big way, but she won't tumble down. So here is what they say. Hey Mabel, hey Mabel, hey Mabel, Mabel, hey. When she's walking down the street, all the boys yell mighty sweet. Hey Mabel, wait for me, wait for me. When she wears a diamond ring, all the boys begin to sing. Hey Mabel, Wait for me. Wait for me. She's as popular as any girl can be. She's a household name in every family. But the one she wants so bad ain't the guy who yells like mad. Hey, Mabel, Mabel, wait, wait for me. Oh, Mabel, why won't you linger a while? Oh, Mabel, wait. Oh, Mabel, please wait for me. Hey, wait. She goes a-strolling along down the avenue, and all the fellas rush out just to get a view. Hey, Mabel, why don't you wait for me? Me too, me too. There ain't a fella in the neighborhood who wouldn't walk a mile to get a nod of her head or to see her smile. Hey, Mabel, I wish you'd wait for me. For rocks around the fellas all have a notion they love her. She is the peach on every family tree. They want to shake it. But the man she wants under the mistletoe is just the guy who does nothing but whisper low. Oh, Mabel. And that's all, brother, but as long as there's a doubt about her, I'll keep a shouting. Hey, Mabel, hey, wait for me.
Thank you, Kingsmen. Somewhere in the canal zone there's a staff sergeant, A.N.D., who wrote on June the 7th and said, I wish I could tell you just where we are so you could understand why command performance means so much to us. Brother, we're really tucked away from the bright lights. So it's a wonderful thrill to hear the voices of our famous stars each week and every week. But there are several voices we'd especially like to hear. One is the unusual voice of that distinguished cinema star, Donald Duck. And here with Donald Duck, his sidekick, that great mental giant who greets you with... Oh, everybody. Oh, Mr. Tracer. Hello, Goofy, and welcome to Command Performance. Now, Donald and Goofy, I was noticing that... Oh, Pluto, we're sorry. We completely overlooked... Now, Donald, I was about to tell the boys overseas that you and Goofy and Pluto have prepared a special message to Adolf Schicklgruber. Yes. And if you like now, you may transmit that message. Go right ahead, boys. Tell Hitler what you think of him. Thank you, Donald Duck and Goofy and Pluto, for filling the request of Sergeant A.N.D. in the Canal Zone. And thanks to Walt Disney for letting you boys out tonight. Now, while Donald is cooling off, let's answer a lot of command performance mail. And that particular letter written on June the 6th by WJB, JJD, and JRS on the USS Argonne. It's Sleepy Lagoon by the sweetheart of the USS Argonne, Pat Friday.
Slowly grows dimmer.
float on a ripple. We're deep in a spell while nightingales tell of roses and dew. The memory of this moment of love will haunt me forever. A tropical moon, a sleepy lagoon, and you. Tropical moon, a sleepy lagoon, and you.
Thank you, Pat Friday. And now, fellows, two very famous stars step forward to answer hundreds of your letters. Letters from the jungle mutters of Panama, from Sergeant G.P.G. and his gang in Cuba, from the Three Musketeers from Muskegon, now in North Ireland, from those 12 grease monkeys somewhere in Australia, and from all corners of the earth, by worldwide command of the AEF, Groucho Marx and Barbara Stanwyck. Groucho Marx and Barbara Stanwyck. Tonight, they are John and Mary Thorndyke. Yes, John and Mary Thorndyke. What a pair. Boy, what a pair. John, the virile and vivacious in the cloak of Groucho Marx. And Mary, his splendid spouse, in the shoes of Barbara Stanwyck, size 4EE. A stranger gazing at their quiet stucco home by the waterfall could hardly have guessed the furies and passions beating within. And yet all day long a heated argument has been raging, and now as evening falls, we find John and Mary cooling off in their hammock on the porch. John.
It's no use, matey. It's no use. We can't keep this up.
You mean...
Yes, I do. I'm through. I'm through rocking on this hammock. Back and forth, back and forth. It gets monotonous.
Well, how else could you rock?
To and fro is a good way. Or hither and yon. Really, matey, sometimes I wish you'd gone to school.
John, you haven't given me your decision yet about the money for Olive.
Olive? Who's Olive?
John, Olive is that daughter of ours.
Which daughter?
We have only one daughter, John.
That simplifies it. That must be the one, then.
Please, John, I want to speak to you about her.
Is it about money again?
Yes, John.
What'd you say?
I said, yes, John.
John? Who's John?
You're John, dear.
That's right, so I am. I must remember that. What were we talking about?
About Olive.
Olive? Who's Olive?
Our daughter, John.
Oh, yes, that girl is driving me crazy. She thinks I'm made of money. She's too extravagant, matey. Not 1 cent. Not 1 red cent, matey.
Oh, John, she's young. She's beautiful. You know, John, you're only young and beautiful once.
Oh, matey, I'm not so young.
I don't think I can stand it much longer. The way you two act. We sit at dinner. Olive staring at you. You staring at Olive. You don't speak. Why? Don't you like Olive?
I like pickles. I'll have to cultivate a taste for olive.
Oh, John, it's terrible. The very atmosphere is charged.
I meant to speak to you about that, Mary. Everything is charged around here. It's got to stop. You don't know the value of money.
But it's not for me, John. It's Olive.
Olive? Who's Olive?
Please, she's our daughter.
We have a lot of children, haven't we?
No, just one. And she must have nice things. Oh, John, dear, you must expect to spend money on a pretty girl.
I always did.
What?
I mean, I love you, matey. And don't forget, I worked hard for my money.
Until you married me.
Remember, dear, I'm a Thorndyke. I gave you my name in exchange for your money. Now I have your money and you have my name. And I have my name and your money. Oh, it's all so confused and complicated and confused.
John, I just can't have my daughter staying behind while her friends enjoy the pleasure and niceties of life. She's a Thorndyke, John.
Who's a Thorndyke?
Olive, our daughter.
Naturally.
Well, what do you say, John? Yes or no?
Yes, I say no.
You can't refuse your own flesh and blood.
Matey, I don't want to refuse her. It's just that we've got to be careful now of money. Now of all time. Have I told you how things are down at the office?
No.
Well,
You mean-
worse than that.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, then, John, maybe we shouldn't.
No, matey, because I love you, I'll call the bank and see if they can do something.
Oh, you're fair, John. And square.
Give me that phone. Hello, operator. Get me the Last National Bank. Hello, bank. Give me the receiving teller. Hello, receiving? How are you? How's my balance? What do you care who this is? I'm asking you a civil question. I expect a civil answer. How's my balance? All right, I'll let you in on a secret. This is Thorndyke. Now then, how do I stand? I'm a bit surprised myself. Is it really that bad? It is? Well, I guess it is. Goodbye, receiving.
What did he say, John?
He didn't say. It was after 3 o'clock and the bank was closed.
Well, John, I know you'll do the right thing as you see it. And perhaps it was wrong of me to ask you to spend the money. It was just that I felt so sorry for Olive.
Olive? Who's Olive?
John, Olive is our daughter.
How nice. Well, if you put it that way, matey, I can't resist. Tell whatever her name... What did you say her name was?
Olive.
Oh, well, tell her she can have the money.
Oh, John, you're wonderful. You're fine. Olive will be so proud and happy. Oh, John, kiss me, kiss me, kiss me.
Oh, stop your nagging. At a time like this, always kissing.
But you do mean it, John. You will give Olive the money?
Yes, I'll give it to her, although it takes the last penny I've got. How much does she want?
$12.
$12?
Well, she wants to buy a pair of alligator shoes.
She'll spoil the beast. I never heard of an alligator wearing shoes. But I'll give her the money, matey. Yes, I'm doing a noble thing.
Oh, noble, John.
I'm a Thorndyke. I'm doing a thing that will outlive marble and the gilded monuments of princes.
Oh, beautiful.
Am I really? Say it again, matey. Keep on saying it.
Perhaps you think it's better.
Oh, nonsense. She shall have it. Why, nothing's too good for Olive.
Olive? Who's Olive?
Who?
Olive. Who's she?
I don't know, but I've seen you someplace before.
Well, mister, we're packing up those command performance mail bags for tonight. But you know by now that this big show of yours will be on deck again next week. That's a promise. And here in the USA, a promise is something we keep. In the Axis world, they keep a promise just long enough to break it. This is Spencer Tracy, then, thanking you for this invitation to your own personal radio show. And speaking of shows, you're playing the leading role in the biggest show on earth. And you're doing fine. And listen, man, if a certain little guy with a black mustache and a black heart thinks he can get a free pass to your show, tell him he's paying the full price. But give him a very special seat, the hot seat. Good night.
Okay there, men, we're sounding taps on another command performance. The great stars you've heard tonight, Spencer Tracy, Mary Lee, Victor Borge, the King's Men, Pat Friday, Donald Duck and Goofy, Lou Forbes and the orchestra, Groucho Marx and Barbara Stanwyck say thanks for those letters. Just keep those letters rolling in to command performance in care of the station to which you're listening, and you'll be listening to your favorite stars each week. This is Paul Douglas reminding you that the dictators are feeling pretty miserable these days, but they haven't got long to wait. Uncle Sam's coming over there to put them out of their misery.
Hi, fellas. Take a break and take a listen to another session of GI Jive, the all-recorded, all-request session that comes your way each day, bar none. How you doing, fellas? This is Jill breaking in as usual and inviting you to lend an ear or two to Tommy Dorsey, the Andrews sisters, Duke Ellington, and Artie Shaw. They're all waxed up and ready to take a spin in the AEF jukebox. Tommy Dorsey and his orchestra have reached the required 78 RPM, so here we go with, well, Get It. I hope TD's Will Get It got out to Mike Akak Banco and the radio gang aboard a certain seaplane tender. Hello, Mike. Take it easy, boy. Next, the Andrews Sisters with One Meatball. And here's something funny about this song. The lyrics are over 100 years old. Yep, that's what I'm told. They're taken from an old story about a man who went into an inn way back when, and he didn't have but a few cents. Well, the only thing different about it is that all he could get was one fish ball. Well, I guess it was Meatless Tuesday. Anyway, today it's one meatball for Seaman First Class George T. Hupp and his pals on a coral-covered, water-surrounded, sunburnt, arid, and uninviting island. That's what the man said. James E. Berry, Richard Epley, and Dave Burns aboard a certain destroyer escort. The Andrews Sisters singing One Meatball.
A little man walked up and down and found an eating place in town. He looked the menu through and through to see what 15 cents could do. One meatball, one meatball. He could afford but one meatball. He told a waiter near at hand the simple dinner he had planned. The folks were startled, one and all, to hear that waiter loudly call, one meatball, one meatball. Hey, this here gent wants one meatball. The little man felt ill at ease and said, some bread, sir, if you please. The waiter's voice roared down the hall, you gets no bread with one meatball. One meatball, one meatball. You gets no bread with one meatball. Meatball was all he had. Now in his dreams he hears that call, you get no bread with one meatball. One meatball, one meatball. You get no bread with one meatball. One meatball.
Calling Sergeant Charles McGrath, better known as Horizontal McGrath, somewhere on the continent. Wake up, McGrath, and dig this on account of This Is For You. It's the Duke of Ellington with one of his own tunes, Don't You Know I Care.
Don't you know I care? Or don't you care to know? If you know I care, how could you hurt me so? Darling, you are part of every breath I take. Will you break my heart, or give my heart a break? I I can't figure out what love's all about and where I fit into your scheme. Am I wasting time? Please tell me, 'cause I'm down to my last dream. Won't you please be fair? Love me or let me go. Don't you know I care? Or don't you care to know?
GI Jive, fellas, that daily 15 that comes your way rain or shine through the courtesy of one beaten, battered old jukebox. It's Artie Shaw and his new band with an old tune for Sergeant J.B. Zeichner of a certain photo company at ATO 719 and Roy Brody somewhere in the North Atlantic. Artie Shaw with Swonderful. Yep, it's wonderful. And it's also sign-off time for now. I'll be seeing you all tomorrow. Till then, this is your GI gal Jill saying good morning to some of you, good afternoon to some more of you, and to the rest of you, good night.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
At Ease. At Ease is the Armed Forces Radio Service presents a quarter hour of music played without interruption. So at ease, and listen to the folk songs of tomorrow.
They say that falling in love is wonderful. It's wonderful. So they say. And with the moon up above, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So they tell me. I can't recall who said it. I know I never read it. I only know they love is grand. The thing that's known as romance is wonderful, wonderful in every way, so they say. I can't recall who said it. I know I never read it. I only know they tell me that love is grand. And the thing that's known as romance is wonderful, wonderful in every way. So they somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that he turns out to be someone who'll watch over me. I'm a little lamb who's lost in the wood. I know I could always be good to one who watched over me. Although he may not be the man some girls think of as handsome, to my heart he carries the key. Won't you tell him please to put on some speed? follow my lead. Oh, how I need someone to watch over me. Although he may not be the man some girls think of as handsome, to my heart he carries the key for me. Won't you tell him please to put on some speed? Follow my lead. Oh, how I need someone to watch over me.
You've been at ease for the past quarter hour and listening to songs by Ginny Simms, piano by Eddie Duchin, and the orchestra and chorus under the direction of Percy Faith. Songs were My Heart Stood Still, They Say It's Wonderful, Night and Day, Someone to Watch Over Me, and Falling in Love with Love. This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Have you heard the Whistler?
I'm the Whistler.
I must kill Henry. I must kill Henry.
That was Ambrose Brent, official of an airplane plant. He found strange notes in the night.
You better get away, Ambrose. Take a good long rest. The sooner the better.
That was Henry Pierce, Ambrose's partner. He was growing fearful of Ambrose.
Get this prescription filled, Ambrose. It'll make you sleep. And you'd better get away.
And that was Ambrose's friend, Dr. Fenwick. And this is Ambrose's wife, Doris.
What's happened, Ambrose? Look at me. What have you done?
Another Saturday night, and again CBS presents The Whistler.
And I, the Whistler, know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales, many secrets hidden in the hearts of men and women who've stepped into the shadows. I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak. And so I tell you tonight the strange story of Notes in the Night. A storm rages wildly over the countryside. Beyond that long row of trees stands a lonely house half hidden in the darkness of the night. Not a single light appears from any of its many windows. But up there in that room with the large window, a man stirs fretfully in his sleep. The man is Ambrose Brent, an official of an airplane plant. But it's not the storm that stirs his uneasy slumber. It's something else, something far more sinister, something that has happened many times in the past few weeks. Now he stirs again, moans loudly, and suddenly sits bolt upright in his huge bed.
Who's there? Who's there, I say? It's funny. I swore I heard something. I swear I felt someone in the room.
Turn on the lamp, Ambrose. You'll see.
I can't imagine what's happening to me. It's just nerves, I guess. It's just... Good Lord. Another note. Another one. I must kill Henry. I must kill Henry. That's the third note this week in my own handwriting. I've got to do something. I've got to tell someone. Henry's my best friend. Oh, it's nerves. I know. I'll call Dr. Fenwick. Doc will know what's wrong. Fairchild 1834W. Yes.
Hello?
Is Dr. Fenwick in?
No, Dr. Fenwick isn't in. He can be reached at Walnut 2380.
Walnut 2380. That's Henry Pierce's number. I can't go there. If there's anything to this, I must stay away from Henry. I've got to see Doc Fenwick. Wait till morning.
Hello, Ambrose. Sit down. What's wrong?
Doc, I've got to talk with you.
Oh, of course, Ambrose. Why not? What's up?
Something's wrong with me. Terribly wrong.
Oh, yeah?
Read this note.
No? I must kill Henry. Henry? I must kill Henry? I don't get it. What has this to do with your trouble?
I wrote it.
You did? Well, really? And why did you write it?
I don't know. I don't remember writing it, but I know it's in my own writing. And that's it.
Who's Henry?
Henry Pierce. Who else?
Have you been drinking, Ambrose?
Not a drop, I swear.
Well, look, old boy, you'd best sit down. Ah, that's better. Now, when did you write this?
I don't know. I found 6 notes just like that.
6? Where?
On the nightstand beside my bed.
Are you sure it's your writing?
Well, doesn't it look like it?
Yeah, certainly does. Tell me, how many hours have you been putting in at the plant lately?
Oh, too many.
I'd better give you a thorough going over, Ambrose.
But why should I write such notes?
I don't know. Mind plays queer tricks on us sometimes under undue strain. You better slow down. That's my best prescription. Take it easy. Get out of town as soon as possible.
Yes. Yes, I guess you're right.
There, I'll give you something for your nerves.
Thanks. Doctor, you don't think I'm losing my mind, do you?
No, Ambrose. You're just terribly upset, that's all. Here. Here's your prescription. You better get it filled tonight.
Thanks. I'll leave Saturday. You don't think there's anything wrong with me? Mentally, I mean.
If you're in town after Saturday night, I'll drag you out with my own two hands.
Good night, Doctor.
Good night, Ambrose. Sleep tight. And don't think about anything.
Ambrose, why don't you take a little vacation?
What do you mean, Henry? Have you been talking to Doc Fenwick?
Fenwick?
Of course you have. He told you all about it.
About what?
I feel better than I've felt in years. I'm in excellent condition. Do you hear?
Certainly I hear. What's wrong with you, Ambrose?
Nothing.
If you act like this, I'll be forced to agree with Doc Fenwick.
What has he said?
He just said you were overworked.
Well, he doesn't know everything.
Ambrose, you'll please me very much if you'll take a little vacation.
Did Doc Fenwick tell you what was bothering me?
Yes, he did, Ambrose, and I think you'd better get away as soon as possible. Oh, I'm sorry, Ambrose, but don't worry. Everything will be all right.
Then you're not worried? You're not upset about it?
Certainly not. Why should I be?
Please believe me, Henry, I wouldn't do such a thing. I've never even thought of such a thing. I'd kill myself first. You do believe me, don't you?
Huh? Why, of course I do, of course.
I wouldn't kill you. I have no reason.
Shall I drive you home, Ambrose?
No, I'll get home. I'd better leave tomorrow, hadn't I? I'll go up to my place in the mountains. There's no one there. My wife has gone to Palm Beach.
Yes, Ambrose. You better leave tomorrow.
Yes. Doris will be back from Palm Beach in 3 weeks.
That'll be long enough. I'm sure you'll find things different when you return. Quite different.
Good night, Henry.
Goodbye, Ambrose. Sleep tight and don't think about anything.
Ambrose goes home and to bed. The clock ticks off the eerie hours. The clock chimes 2. And suddenly Ambrose stirs fretfully in his slumber. He wakes and again sits up staring into the inky blackness of his silent room. Turn on the light, Ambrose. Turn on the light.
Who is it? Who's there? Good Lord. Another one. I must kill Henry. Jameson! Jameson! I've got to get hold of myself. This is ridiculous. Jameson! I'm losing my mind. I must be.
Did you call me, sir?
Yes. Yes, I called you.
I thought I heard a scream.
A scream? No, What time is it?
It's long after midnight, sir. It's 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock? Oh, pack my bag. Order my plane to be ready in 30 minutes.
Where are you going, sir?
It doesn't matter.
Yes, sir.
I've got to get away. I've got to. 2:15. I must get away. I must. I'm mad. I must be. Jameson! Jameson!
The car is at the door, sir.
Then come on with the bag.
Where are you going, sir?
I don't know where I'm going, Jameson. Understand?
Yes, sir. I understand.
Good night, Jameson.
Goodbye, sir.
Yes? Yes? Who is it? What do you want? Come in. Ambrose, is that you? What on earth are you doing here at 2:30 in the morning? What's wrong? I say, what's wrong with you?
I must kill Henry. I must kill Henry.
Ambrose, put up that gun. No, don't, Ambrose. Don't.
I must kill Henry.
Don't, you're mad. Don't come near me. Don't. Ambrose.
Operator, I want Dr. Fenwick in New York. Fairchild, 1834W. Please. It's Dr. Fenwick's residence. Make it person to person. This is cross line 142. I've got to talk to someone. I've got to. I can't stand this silence, this being alone. Hello? Oh. I see. No, never mind. I'll call tomorrow.
Put up your hands. Don't move.
Doris!
Ambrose!
What on earth? What are you doing here?
Why, what are you doing here?
I thought you were in Palm Beach. What are you doing up here in the mountains?
I changed my mind. I decided to come up here.
Why didn't you let me know?
I didn't think about it. I was going to phone you in the morning. Well, how did you find time to get away from the plant? I thought you were too busy to eat.
Well, I decided I needed to rest, so I...
It's an early hour to arrive. 5 a.m.
Is it? Well, you see, it occurred to me on the spur of the moment. I flew up. Well, what are you staring at?
I'm not staring, Ambrose. What's wrong? What's happened?
Nothing. I came up here because...
Because what? What are you talking about, Ambrose? Are you ill?
Yes. Yes, that's it. I'm ill, very ill. Yes. Get the doctor.
What doctor? There's no doctor near here.
Get Dr. Fenwick. He knows.
Dr. Fenwick?
He's the only one who knows. Except Henry.
Are you out of your mind?
No, I'm not. Do you hear? It's a lie. I'm not crazy. I won't be crazy. Oh, Doris, what's happened to me? What's happened? Oh, poor Henry.
Ambrose, look at me. What have you done? What have you done?
Let me alone. I'm going to bed. I want to get some sleep. I've done nothing. What's that? Wake up, Doris.
What?
That noise.
I didn't hear it.
I did. Hear it? There it is again. There's someone coming there. They are at the door.
There's no one.
See? I'm not here. I haven't been here. You don't know where I am. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Doc, it's you.
Oh. Hello, Doris.
Hello, Doctor.
Did you get my call? You did, didn't you?
Now, Ambrose, take it easy. Everything's going to be all right. Don't get excited.
All right? What do you mean?
You've got a 50-1 chance to pull out of this.
Pull out?
Certainly. I know you're mentally upset. You have been for weeks. I'll swear to that. I have records. I'll appear on your side. You'll get out of it.
Out of it? Out of what?
You're not a killer.
Killer?
What did you say? What did you say?
I said you weren't a killer. I understand your case perfectly.
Henry is dead?
Yes. I'm sorry to say Henry is dead. He died about 2:30 in the morning, as closely as can be determined. From all indications, the police think he committed suicide.
But he didn't. You know he didn't.
He may have.
Then why did you come here?
I thought this is where you'd come, and I was right.
What does this mean, Doctor?
It means that if Henry's dead, I killed him. I must have.
Must have? Are you positive?
Yes, who else could it be? I've written notes to myself for weeks. This Doc knows. He knows all about it.
Do you?
Yes, but I didn't think it would come to this.
But why did you do such a thing? He was your best friend.
I know it. But if he's dead, I must have done it.
But why did you do it?
I don't know.
Now, please, don't get upset. He wasn't responsible.
I am responsible. I did it. And I'm going back.
No, Ambrose. Stay here till I send for you. I'll have a talk with you.
No. I'm going back this morning.
I can't believe such a thing.
Doris, why do you look at me like that? Please. I don't know why I did it. Oh, Doris, don't you believe me?
I don't know. I don't know.
Tell her, Doc. Tell her.
Tell her what?
Tell her the truth. Tell her I didn't do it for a reason. Explain to her how it was. You know how it happened. Go on, tell her. Tell her.
Come now, old boy. This is not helping you.
What'll they do with me?
Why? Now, look, it's early yet. It's 9 o'clock. You'd better try to get some sleep in this afternoon. I'll take you back to the city and make arrangements for you to go someplace where you can have a nice rest.
What kind of a place?
Why, rest home. I know a nice, quiet place.
You don't mean a rest home. I know what you're thinking. You mean an asylum. You think I'm insane, both of you.
Now, Ambrose.
Well, why don't you say it?
Ambrose, if you don't control yourself, something will happen to you.
I won't go to an asylum. Do you hear? Do you hear me?
Stop it.
I won't stop it. You don't care about me. You're both cold and heartless. You want me to be locked up, both of you.
Ambrose, please. Please, calm down.
Keep away from him, Doris.
See? Keep away from him. He's a dangerous lunatic. A killer.
You don't calm down. I'll have to use force.
You try it. You just try it. I'm going out that door, and don't you try to stop me.
You run away like this, you stamp yourself as a hopeless lunatic. They'll find you.
They won't find me, and I won't be locked up.
Ambrose, please.
No, I'll kill myself first.
You're a fool, Ambrose. A mad fool.
Now you've done it, Ambrose. You've really made a mess of things. You're a fugitive now. They'll throw out a dragnet. You'll have to run and hide and sneak, afraid of every shadow. You'll have to run, Ambrose. Hide and sneak and run for the rest of your days. Ambrose Brent, fugitive.
Ambrose Brent, 5 feet 8, 150 pounds. Brown hair. Blue eyes. Wanted for murder.
Fugitive. Lunatic. Padded cell. Lunatic. Padded cell. Lunatic.
Hurry, Ambrose, hurry. More gas. Step on it.
What's that?
A sign, Ambrose, and a red flag swinging in the road. 2 men in black rubber coats. Too late to turn around now.
What's your hurry, mister? Driving pretty fast for a storm like this, ain't you?
Who are you? What do you want?
State police.
What are you stopping me for?
We're stopping everybody.
Why?
We're looking for someone.
Looking for someone? Who?
A fugitive.
A murderer?
We didn't say what he'd done. Let's have a look at your driver's license.
Driver's license? Why, that's funny. I must have...
left it in your other suit, huh? Step out. Let's have a look at you. Hey, you come back here!
What's eating him? He must be nuts. Why, I could have plugged him, but I just shot in the air.
Just as well. He wasn't Mike Coretti. I could make 2 of him.
Know where you are now? Recognize this room? That's right. It's the room of death, where Henry was murdered the night before. His body has been removed, but the pad on his desk is still there, smeared with a large brown stain. There are 5 people in the room: Dr. Fenwick and Doris Brent, Jameson the Brent's butler, Inspector Fields, and Carnes of the District Attorney's office. The inspector is speaking.
District Attorney Carnes had an appointment with Henry Pierce. It was he who discovered the body this morning. Pierce had been dead about 7 hours. Right, Mr. Carnes?
That's right, Inspector Fields.
We attempted to reach Mr. Brent and were told by Jameson, the butler, that he left town at 2 in the morning. He told us about the place in the mountains, and there we reached you, Mrs. Brent.
You've no idea where your husband is, Mrs. Brent?
Not the slightest.
Your butler said you had gone to Palm Beach.
Yes, I started for Palm Beach, but I changed my mind and went to the mountains.
And your husband came there last night?
Yes, it was about 5 in the morning.
About 9 o'clock. I flew up to the cabin, got there a few minutes before 9.
Why did you go there, Doctor?
Well, I had advised Ambrose to take a rest. He's been working too hard and was heading for a nervous breakdown. When I learned of Henry's death, I went to tell him about it.
Doctor, you visited Henry Pierce here last evening.
I did. He phoned me to come over. I got here about 11. He'd made a new will and wanted me to witness it and asked if I would serve as executor. I read it and signed it.
I see. In whose favor was the will drawn?
Well, the old will left everything to Ambrose. Henry had no living relative. But because of Ambrose's mental condition, he decided to leave everything to Doris, Mrs. Brent.
That's correct. I found the will on the desk.
Was Ambrose Brent your patient?
Yes, of course.
What was his trouble?
Too much work. He had a great responsibility.
Did you think he was losing his mind?
No.
Did he think so?
Well, he was terribly upset. He'd been having hallucinations.
Doctor, when was the last time you saw him prior to finding him in the mountains?
The evening before Henry died. I wrote him a prescription.
Mm-hmm. And where did you go after you left Henry Pierce last night?
I told my servants that I was going out of town for a holiday, but it was storming so when I left Henry that I decided to stay at my club.
Mrs. Brent, did your husband, Mr. Pierce, ever quarrel?
Not to my knowledge. They were the best of friends.
I see. Have you told us all you know, Dr. Fenwick?
No.
Then I think you should. What was it that bothered Ambrose Brent?
Well, he said he had been writing himself notes. They were all alike, in his own handwriting, and all said the same thing. I must kill Henry.
I didn't know this.
Certainly not. That was the patient's private business. I thought that if I could get him away for a rest, he'd pull out of it.
There you are, Carnes. Must have been on his mind.
Yes, but what's the motive?
An unbalanced mind doesn't always need a motive.
Then you think Ambrose did it?
He loved Henry like a brother. If he did it, he was completely out of his mind. Believe me.
Ambrose!
What? Well, thank heaven. You finally came to your senses.
Come in, Mr. Brent.
I suppose you want to see me?
I'm Inspector Fields, Police Department. This is Mr. Carnes of the District Attorney's Office.
Yes, I know Mr. Carnes.
I thought you'd gone on a little vacation, Mr. Brent.
I had gone, but not on a vacation.
Mr. Pierce told me you'd gone for a couple of weeks.
I was going on a vacation, but something changed my mind.
Oh? What was that?
You know. You know why I've come back. Henry's dead, and I killed him.
When did you kill him?
I don't know. Must have been last night.
Why did you do it?
I wish I knew. I recall neither the crime nor the motive. But I'm sure I did it.
Why are you so sure you did it?
Because of these notes, 6 of them. I've been writing notes to myself for weeks. Read them.
Are they in your own handwriting?
Certainly. But I don't remember writing a one. I must have some form of amnesia.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard Henry was dead, I tried to run away. I couldn't stand the thought of an asylum, but the faster I ran, the more I hated myself, so I came back to get it over with. It's a great relief.
Now, Mr. Brent, compose yourself. Mr. Brent, did you know that Henry Pierce made a new will last night, leaving his estate to your wife?
What? Why should he do that?
Well, perhaps he was worried about you.
Of course. Why shouldn't he be? He knew I was acting strangely.
Take a look at this will. Is that Henry's signature?
Certainly.
You're sure it isn't your writing?
It is not. I couldn't copy his signature if I tried. It's just a bunch of scrawls.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mr. Brent, take this pad and write on it, I must kill Henry.
Please, isn't that being a bit brutal?
Go ahead, write it.
There you are.
Good. Now write the date on it.
They weren't dated.
Well, write it anyway. Write the date in numerals. Don't name the month.
There it is.
Thank you. Now you write the same, Mrs. Brent.
There.
Thanks. Now you, Dr. Fenwick.
There you are.
Mm-hmm. Well,
The notes you got were certainly in your own handwriting, Mr. Brent.
I told you that. Why waste so much time? I came back to get it over with. I'm tired.
There, you need some sleep, old man. You'll feel better after you've had a nap.
I can't sleep. I haven't slept for days.
You should have. You've been taking that medicine I gave you.
I didn't get it. I didn't want to sleep. I just wanted to get away. Here's the prescription, still in my pocket.
Prescription? May I see it, please? Thank you. What is this medicine, Doctor?
It's intended to induce sleep, but he's so stubborn he wouldn't take it. If he had, this wouldn't have happened.
Oh. Inspector, take a look at this note written just now by Mr. Brent.
I must kill Henry.
And the date.
5/14/42.
May the 14th, 1942. Now, Mrs. Brent's note.
I must kill Henry. 5/14/42. The same.
Mm-hmm. And now Dr. Fenwick's.
I must kill Henry. 14/5/42.
And now read the date on the will.
14/5/42. What does that mean? There aren't 14 months.
And now look at the date on this prescription.
14/5/42. Well, I'll be darned. What does it mean?
It means that Dr. Fenwick was educated in Europe, where they indicate the day of the month first, then the month. The 14th day of the 5th month.
What? Well, you're crazy. Are you accusing me of this?
It means that the doctor, not Henry, wrote this will, and if he wrote the will, he must have killed Henry Pierce. And if he killed Henry, he must have had a motive. And I've guessed that motive.
You're out of your mind. What motive would I have?
You also wrote those notes and left them for Ambrose to find. You're an expert at handwriting, Dr. Fenwick. You figured that Ambrose would be declared insane, and Henry's as well as Ambrose's property would go to Doris with you as executor in complete control.
I don't believe it. Ridiculous.
And this is what I hate to say at this moment, but I think it's true. Dr. Fenwick, tell him about you and Mrs. Brent.
That's a lie.
Tell him, Doctor. That's what's back of the whole thing. You're stuck. You might as well tell him.
All right. All right, I wrote the will. I wrote the notes. I am in love with Doris. I have been for years. She was in love with me.
Doris.
I'm sorry, Henry.
But she had nothing to do with Henry's death. Not a thing. I came here that night disguised as Ambrose. Henry didn't hear my voice. I only whispered. He thought it was you. That's all. Sorry, Doris.
Stop him! Good Lord.
Well, the doctor is dead.
The doctor's dead, yes. But that's not all, not quite. There's something troubling the inspector, and you, Ambrose, and you too, Doris. How was it that Mr. Carnes first got wise to the doctor? How did the doctor slip up? How did he show his hand? I know. And so does District Attorney Carnes. Go ahead, Mr. Carnes. Tell us.
Well, the doctor said he had gone to the cabin to tell Ambrose of Henry's death. He arrived at the cabin at 9 a.m. I didn't discover the body till 10 a.m. and gave strict orders that it was not to be announced until we'd inspected everything thoroughly. Therefore, the only way the doctor could have known about the murder was to have been present when it happened.
So you see, the doctor didn't go to the cabin to inform Ambrose. He went there to meet Doris. And when he was surprised by Ambrose, he used the death of Henry as an excuse for his coming.
CBS has presented The Whistler. Original music for this production was composed and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Tonight's Whistler story was written and directed by J. Donald Wilson and originated from Columbia Square in Hollywood. Next week, same time,
I, the Whistler, will return to tell you the incredible story of the Draft of Death. Good night.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.